when a player doesn't have those healthy constructs or a healthy mindset to fail forward, then I think us and first responders share that. That's why we use the at-bat. So that relationship of how we get to the zone or flow state, or how we go the other way, the damaging way where we beat ourselves up, there is that crossroads. And it's being okay with failure, but it's not failure, it's learning.
It's lessons.
It's lessons and learning, like what we were vibing out before we got on air.
So
it's those failures and struggles are what sharpen you. And if you really buy into that, it's like the secret sauce, you know.
If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle.
This is Houston, we're copying. Everything is go here.
We shall fight on the beaches and in the streets. We shall never surrender.
I'm in it just to rewrite history, cause I'm in the mood to label us the leaders of the new school. This ain't for the radio, can't find this on YouTube. This the type of killing that these critics ain't used to.
You've said no to the rules of the game or the regulations of the day. You've said no to the conventional wisdom. You're all originals.
In this day and age, I got time for innovation, time to be creative, time to big.
John and I met a couple years ago doing a little deal for baseball stuff and some camps and PTSD. I wanted him on the podcast. We wanted to talk about a few of the things, his goals, his missions, and it kind of aligns directly with what we're trying to do. So anyway, what we're watching today, it's 90 Proof Wisdom with Jeremy Barker. Today we have special guest John Buck. John Buck's Utah resident, has been his whole life. Went to high school here. I guess I don't know if you were born and raised here, but
Well, I was born in Kimmer, Wyoming.
oh, that's even beautiful. Home of JCPenney.
Yes.
So that's that's awesome,
Very good
right?
facts there,
Founder,
Jeremy.
yeah, wonderful place. Cameron's great. It's close. It's not too far, and then you came here. I
Yeah.
guess.
My dad he worked up at the clinic, so he was in the first pool of PAs, because PAs used to be very
Sure.
generalized. He was in that first pool of PAs that were out of here at the University of Utah and the VA hospital.
Oh, how fun is
Little
that?
claim to fame, right?
Great.
So that's why we came here. My dad taught up here at the U and VA hospital. My mom they met, I think, in Kimmer. She was a lab tech.
There was like 6 women in Kimmer.
I know.
So
And
she was
he
one of
got
them.
one of them. That
That's
just
awesome.
shows you a good-looking dad was. Came from there, came to Utah. I know my dad strategically picked Taylorsville because he said it was a good baseball tradition and school. Luckily, ran into Cramblett growing up. Grew up in the Rotini, Taylorsville Park area, Taylorsville baseball, and it was an awesome childhood.
And then you're still in that area.
I live in Bluffdale now, but I came back. It was funny when we came back. We were living in Miami. I thought I was going to stay in Miami.
I love Miami.
Yeah, I know, it was awesome.
Freaking love it.
Brooke and I thought we were going to live there. Just the friends and people, we really got into the community there, and then Brooke got pregnant with Bentley. We already had twins. She was like, "All right,
We're
I
gonna
need
stay
help
up here. Yeah, I need parents.
I need help." Twins and a toddler running around doesn't. And it was always funny. She was always, I don't know if because she's an LDS girl growing up in Utah. Mm-hmm. A lot of the other wives would have nannies and stuff. She's
Just wants to be the mom.
no, I can do that.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
it was once we had 3, she was like, "All right, I'm outmanned. We're going home and getting help from mom." So she came back to
Grandparents
Utah.
are magic. Like
Yeah, I
our
know.
parents,
and
that's it.
especially my mother-in-law.
They
She's
make
pretty
heavy
awesome.
loads and they lighten them quite heavily. And experience matters. Like this is kind of the whole thing. You've got to get experiences, and
Grandparents have patience.
right, because they can send home the dirty diaper.
There you go.
Like, see ya, peace out. I'm excited you're here. Like, we try to look at all different aspects of life and everybody's careers. We've all had our own unique experiences in life. We've had our wins and our losses. We've had our happiness and we've had our depression. And then it comes down like, how do we digest it? So I got a question. Right now, the young kids, they go from junior high, little league, junior high, high school, college, some short college, then right into pros. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't have an understanding of how to lose because they were obviously the best at what they did to get to pro.
Yeah.
Which is really hard.
Yeah.
So the question I have then is, there like this? What teams did you play with?
Astros. I was drafted by the Astros, 98 out of high school, and then traded
Right out of high school. So you
right
didn't,
out of high school.
so no college time.
No college. So I always tell people I was too smart for it.
For college. Yeah, for sure.
No, my uncle David, who played football at Nebraska, and at the time got hurt by the Patriots and was representing the country at the U.S. in judo. So he was like in the middle of a transition out of his sport where the sport said, we don't need you. You're hurt. You're damaged good. Next. So he was dealing with this as an athlete. And he was somebody I really looked up to. So when I was going into high school, getting ready to get drafted or go to college, I thought myself as a football player because I wanted to be like my uncles.
Sure.
They all said, nah, you're getting drafted. You're going to go try this baseball thing. They negotiated 4 years of school where I could go back to college right now. Haven't had to use it, but I was.
So you could still go back.
I could still go back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they negotiated that way. Haven't had to go back, lucky enough. But he was injured, and he just thought you'll live longer and you'll be a little healthier if you do baseball. We did, and so I stuck with baseball. And
so you're good enough at sports that you can play one or the other.
My brain as a kid back then, before I was so naive, it was like, well, what if you don't make it baseball? Okay, I'll go play football. That was literally my answer, I think, to my high school counselor. So it wasn't really a whole lot of sane thought process that goes into it. But I think that was, I was okay to, like, I was ready just to go all out in sports because I felt like I'll go do normal people stuff later. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just let it ride on sports, and luckily I was fortunate enough to make a career of it.
So Astros drafted, and then what?
Yeah, Astros drafted. So I was with the Astros all the way up till, you remember Carlos Beltran when he was traded to the Astros?
No, I don't. But
well, he was traded in 2003 to the Astros. I was the number one prospect at the time. So of course I got thrown into the deal with a lot of other people. Beltran went to the Astros. I went to the Kansas City Royals. We were actually playing the Omaha Royals when I was traded. David DeJesus was on the Omaha Royals. We met at the airport, and to this day, we're still best friends.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
Got to have my major league debut with him, and became pretty close over that. And funny enough, we're kind of talking about the mental health space. He has been that. Jim Fannin he was a mental strength coach that I used. And he created a boarded advisors. He's at the top of my list. He's that guy that he'll tell you your shit doesn't stink when it doesn't stink, and then also tell you if you have the yips and you maybe hit him in the shin, he'll tell you good job. So he's that type of guy for you. He's just a stud. And at the time he wasn't really spiritual, but he had this very positive aura about him. And he's now become very spiritual, which I think just conducting in love the way he does, I can see why.
2 teams?
No, actually, I was Royals. And then after the Royals, I was drafted or released by Kansas City because my only comparable was Pudge Rodriguez. I'm not as worth what Pudge Rodriguez is, especially not as a rookie. So I agreed with them. They let me go. So I was picked up and signed with Toronto. 2010, became an All-Star that year, and then signed a 3-year deal with Miami, and then after that contract signed with Seattle for a year, and then was getting to the point where it's very debatable. Maybe I was getting too many at-bats because I had a bonus coming up. They let me go. I was lucky enough to go be with signed on with the Astros or the Angels. Mm-hmm. Got to play 2 weeks with the Bees. And then was able to play against the Royals in the playoffs, which they beat us, which was fun because those were all like Gordon, Hosmer, Greinke, all those guys that were all the kids I kind of raised. And now they were
now they're beating you.
I was on the bench, so it was a little. I could watch and observe it because I was backing up Ionetta at the time. That's why I had signed with the Angels.
Nice.
And so. I was released by Seattle and then picked up by the Angels, so I was being able to go to the playoffs and watch the Royals go on the run there, at least be a part of it in some weird way.
Well, literally, if you think about pro sports, and I'm not a sports guy, just FYI, I was so small, I told you that on the phone earlier, that I never really could play sports much. Like I did a little bit of baseball, a little bit of basketball, but as soon as everybody got over 5 foot, I was out. Like it was just literally a loss for me. Yeah. So I just was the oldest kid in my class, got the driver's license early, and would drive everybody around. I was just the shuttle boy. So, and that was okay with me, but never was great for dating through high school, right? Yeah. That doesn't work out so well. But after high school, you go through this phase. Mine wasn't pro sports. I rolled right into my own business. Again, I had a lot of difficulty in life early. I had a great family, great parents, great, up 12 years old, shit starts to hit the fan for parents. They go through their down cycle. We went times no money, no car, you know what I mean? Like all these different processes, which doesn't really matter. I don't think that sets the future. And, you hear a lot of people say, like, I didn't have a chance. You had a chance. You moved to Taylorsville. Your dad knew somebody. He worked at the U, could line you. My parents, whatever. I had a chance early, then no chance. I guess you could say whatever it is. It's what we make of it and what we make of our lessons. But I'd never, personally failed. Now, if you looked at the family, there would be some failures or some game losses, I guess is what you'd say, whatever we want to refer to as the game. But it's like, what could we do with it? And I felt early on, like, I'll bring the first example. My dad was in stocks. He was a stockbroker, and he did really, really well in stocks early. And when the market crashed in 87, lost everything. And I saw that he just never regained or recovered. Just 7 years of depression, sat on the couch, watched movies, read books. Oh, okay. Mom worked her ass off. Always. She was a workaholic. But then I realized, like, I don't want to be that guy. So my lesson was, one, hey, when you lose, don't stay down. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I'm seeing mom work her butt off. She's staying up late. Dad's trying to, I can sympathize and I understand what he's going through. However, I didn't understand why we'd let it take so long. Yeah. Why are you just sitting there for so long? Yeah. Now, I had the opportunity to get out of school, start my own business after a couple little events. And then that went off really well. And then my big loss was that. So, but we never really learned how to manage our own personal losses. Mm-hmm. However, I did learn lessons from my parents, thank goodness. Whether we want to say, hey, I learned how to be successful or I learned how to fail, I think there's two channels in the same lesson, right? If we look at it that way. But I realized what I didn't want to be like on a loss. And I also realized when I was judging my parents going through their failures and saying, well, I wouldn't do that, that I was doing it. Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, wait a second, what could I do different? So the point that I was trying to make out with your baseball youth into the teams was they never, if you're going to be pro, like, what's the percentage of all the little league baseball players that actually get pro? It's got to be sub 1%. It's got to be in the tenths. Oh, it's ultra hundredths, right, of 1%. So really rare. Well, there's obviously this state. If you're pro, that means you went all the way up. And then you go from being the best in the junior high, the best in the high school, to nothing at pro. All of a sudden you have to earn your keep in pro, and you realize how good really good is. Oh, yeah. So there's a first lesson of loss. Like, hold on a second, I was the name. So then it's this understanding of who you are and that. So the question I was trying to lean on is, and the reason I asked for what teams, did they help? Did they have opportunities or educational pieces for the kids trying to process that, like with depression, sadness, and that phase of understanding that you're not a loser because you lost? Yeah. You're just in a phase of experience, even though you have the understanding.
I don't think by design they have stuff, and I think they're getting smarter. You'll hear, like there'll be 2 or 3 pitching coaches or 2 or 3 hitting coaches on a team now, and there'll be quality control coaches. Yeah. So what that coach does is actually, it's a mental strength coach, and after you're at bats, it processes and they send you through the right process how to down-regulate the success or failure you just went through, so that we're down-regulating what we want, not what we don't want. So we're able to filter out those things. And so those quality control coaches are the ones that kind of help steer that so that it stays on the right path. Because baseball is a negative game taught by negative people wanting positive results. So we got to have routines and rituals that help us stay on the line.
So just define that, what that means.
So a negative game, so you're getting a 300 average, it's a negative average. That's the Hall of Fame. If you hit 300, if you're the best at failing, you're in the Hall of Fame. That means you process and filter through and not let it affect you more than the other guy. That's it. It's going to affect everybody. Like I brought up Jeter earlier. It's still, that goes through his head the same way mine does. But his processes that he told me about, I had this at bat, and it kind of like locked into me. Like, if Derek's going through this, everybody's going through this. Right. So we had this at bat. I'd like 3 for 4 with 2 homers on this day. Royals beating the Yankees. I single-handedly was the man that day. Sitting behind home plate, Ninth inning, Derek's up, guy on, first, second, whatever it was. It was like if he hit a home run, it would have tied it. I remember that. So 2 or 3 gone. And he kept fouling off. And this at-bat, it was like 3-2, and he fouling it off, just like Jeter does. And 2 things happened that hit me. One, he stepped out, winked at me, and said, "John, we having fun yet?" So 1, he knew my name, Derek Jeter. I was a rookie. I was like, right, he knows my name. So that was pretty cool.
And you were pitching?
I was catching. So I'm sitting there catching, and I'm squatted looking up at him, waiting for him to get in the box, and I was just staring at him. And in my mind, I was thinking, right, now's the time to go in. Now's the time to go in. I think he's starting to dive out now. So I was thinking that. He looked at me, winks, and he said, "We having fun yet, John?" And I went to him. I have a picture in my office at home, and I said, "Derek, why did you say that to me?" I was feeling this nervousness. Like, I was so nervous, and we were winning, and I've already got 2 home runs in the books for the day. Just like that moment, it's the middle of July.
Right.
And we're probably losing 100 games. They're probably in first place. There's all these things going on, and his calmness, his comfortability, his back was up against the wall. I had him. I felt nervous. He was putting on these vibes like, oh, I got it all taken care of. And I asked him, I was feeling this. What were you feeling? Why did you say that to me? He goes, I was actually feeling what you're describing to me. You're starting to get my head think about what ifs, not what I want. So you started to get me out of thinking about fastball middle of the way. And when that happens, I try to break it up, remind myself I'm having fun. As I said to you, we having fun yet, John? So when I said that, I'm putting myself back in my mom's backyard. The neighbor won't give us the ball back. He's a dick in left field. I hit the ball to right field in Battle Creek, Michigan, with 2 pine trees out and right. I hit the ball that way. I'm zero on thought. I'm in my backyard, and I'm singular in thought. I'm just back in my backyard when I was having fun. Reduced thoughts. And I was like, oh, Derek Jeter's he's putting himself in his backyard. So, because I was in his head. I was there, and he goes, I was thinking along with you. All right, is he going to come in? Is he going to wait? Because when you were looking at me, you were thinking that, right? And I was like, I was. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I had to go back to no thoughts. You had me thinking. So I was trying to put myself and reduce my thoughts. It's like, oh, Derek Jeter's doing that in real time. He goes, well, go back and look at all my big at-bats. I went back and looked at him. He's blowing a bubble. That home run, that little kid reaches over, he's blowing a bubble. The other big hits that he gets in the World Series, blowing a bubble. So he did that skill set. And it was this thing that hit me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I worked with Jim Fannin and Tony Robbins and all this. And that negative game, how do we sift through that? I may strike out with Verlander, but my conscious mind knows no difference if I down-regulate it of saying, all right, that's not the pitch I want. What is the pitch I want? I flood my mind with that past experience. That's a plus. Like you said, good. It's in my favor to get a hit this time. Yep. And I fully believe it. And you really believe it. And once you start to realize that process, you learn how to fight the negativity of what baseball is with finding things like data. Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is going to help me hit Verlander. Which
is all experience.
Oh, all experience.
And this is
you got to
where,
live through it.
This is their kids. They want to miss it. They want to skip it. And it's not that we all want to, by the way. When I say, hey, you guys want to skip it? Everybody wants to skip the experience part. Yeah. Like, hey, I've done it. I've got that. I understand it. Well, there's one thing. You got education, which is one. Mm-hmm. But experience is time. And there's no way to expedite it. Mm-hmm. Every game you get that's more than mine is more experience than me. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, we may have a lot of experience early in our heart, but ultimately there's always someone that's better, smarter, more experienced. And when you get up to your Derek Jeters, which we all have, mm-hmm. right? We have our Derek Jeter guy. And then you're like, I look up to him. And then you see how they do it. It's not that they're any better or different. Simplicity. They process stuff completely different. So I was telling you guys the other day, I wear a Hume band. Yeah. And it has like its stress scale from 0 to 100. And I can tell you, I'll have to show you the dashboard one day, but my highest is like 27. Mm. And I have a lot on my plate. It's not to say that my stress is any different or more than anybody else's, whether you're buying dinner or if you have fuel. Your car's pretty stressful or whatever. But there's a lot of people that rely on making sure that I don't underperform, mm-hmm. right? That we have a lot of employees. And I don't say that I have low stress in the sense that I don't have stress. It's the way we manage the stress. So it's like the blowing the bubble piece. Like, oh, this is my favorite part. Like we can say, hey, look, we just had this bad thing happen. Like, oh no, I love that part. Yep. And it's not that I love the part, let's be honest. But what I know it's going to do is drill down to like the heaviest weight you tried to push. Yep. You're like, this is where I got strongest. This is the one that pushes me. This is it. I'm excited about it. I'm not excited about pushing. Dude, I suck at bench pressing. Yeah. I suck at this crap. But at the same time, it's like, if you just tell yourself like, oh no, this is it. Like you are not going to beat me. Like there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying there's not a lot of people who can beat me, but there's a lot of people that when they say, hey, I want to do what you can do, I'm like, you just can't do it. Yeah. You don't have 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 20 years.
Well, you know that the processes that have taken you, that you do on a daily, and the little tiny things that give you that peace of mind so you can be singular in thought. And so that, like you said something earlier, like, I don't even need to hang around those things. I think you've built up these blockers so that your stress level can stay where you want, because you don't even let the other stuff into your sphere.
I can't. And you feel bad.
And I think in the past, you may have let those on.
I felt like I had to entertain it. Yeah. I had to feel like I had to support it. I felt like I had to call them back. I felt like I had to go with them. Otherwise, I was being a dick. Like, I'm not trying to be better than anyone. Yeah. I'm just trying to be my best me. Yeah. And sometimes, like, I get a lot of text messages. I'm sure you do too. A lot of asks. And I truly want to help everybody. I promise. Yeah. I do. Like, and I understand where I'm at, and I understand that I have the capacity to do so. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, every time, and by the way, I love to help. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say I don't, but there's only so many levels. So it's like, hey, I can't go all the way down to the player. For example, when we first started in business, I always wanted to, fire business is tough. Mm-hmm. It's tough emotionally, tough financially, it's tough. Yeah. And everybody has kids, and everybody has kids in sports, and it is everything it takes to get them to go play sports. Like in the fire budget, it's really, really hard. Dance, like my girls danced, and they did all sorts of stuff. So they'd ask, hey, can you help me with my kids' sport team? And then when Murphy Door's starting to make its first, 100,000, then $1 million, and then it's significantly more than they ever see, and then 2, then 5, then 10. Yeah. And then it's really, and they know, right? Because I talk openly. Then you have to start saying, look, I can't do every baseball player for every kid in every family in fire in the state. And then you had Kentucky, and it's like, hey, I'm in fire. I was wondering if you could support my kid's sport team, or can you help them go to comp? I'm like, no, but I'll help a team that just wants to play the little league thing. That's not comp, but it just gets them out of the house. I'll help the team. I'll help the school. I'll help the system. And then you start seeing there's like dance and soccer and t-ball and pickleball and tennis. And you're like, holy shit, like this is too much. Yeah. So then you like, hey, I'm going to go military, fire, police, EMS. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of categorize this. And then we'll do local schools in our areas that we have operations. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And it's just because otherwise the noise is too much. And I found myself feeling too guilty. Like you get hundreds of texts that you don't answer, and then you feel like a dick. And it's like, because I don't want to say no. Yeah. Right? I don't want to say no. Yeah. I think, too, is Jim Fan told me this, too, is by you saying no to others, you're giving a complete yes to somebody else, too. Because if you start giving too much of yourself where you break off a piece of yourself, you're not really helping the person that you're able to when you have the time to do, because you're half-heartedly or giving too much of yourself away. And I remember... Do you find yourself, as you've gotten older, being able to protect it? Yeah. I think, too, is I'm okay not making everybody happy now, where before I tried and I saw... And you weren't happy anymore? Yeah. Well, I think I wore a lot of my mom and my brother, and understanding why things were hard for them, and I always tried to be there. But sometimes you can't. And you got to protect your own self, even if it is your mom or your brother or your wife, husband, whatever. There comes a point where you got to put your mask on first before you put on the others, And when you're dealing with this, you're talking about the airplane reference. Yeah, you got to put your oxygen mask on before you can. Yeah. And I think because that helps you able to look after people that you're responsible for and I know. Working with all the first responders I've been working with, that's really hard for them to do. Let's talk about that. So your other stuff. So right now, how long have you been out of business? I've been doing first responder stuff for 2.5 years. And now. You've been out of baseball since 2015 or 16. 11 years. Dude, that's when I left fire. So fast. Doesn't that freak you out?
Well, it freaks me out.
10 years?
10
Like,
years
what
is
the
like,
hell?
I
Yesterday?
played 11 years, and that seemed like it went longer than the quick 10 years after I was done.
Crazy, right?
And the things, and it was scarier being done. And then you start doing things, and then it was like, oh, okay.
I left full-time fire 10 years ago this year in June.
It's crazy.
And then part-time after. But it's like, dude, it seems like yesterday.
I know.
And then you walk back in the stations, you're like, who are you? Why is your kids here?
How about how about young they look?
That's what I mean.
It's probably the same
Like,
thing.
are you guys
yeah.
playing Nintendo? There, it's not. It's Xbox. Well, I don't know what you guys call it, but what the hell's happening in this fire station?
I went to Bahrain and Qatar and got to be under the Patriot missiles. And the kid that walked up to show us, I was like, well,
Where's your mom?
where's the boss? Oh, it's like, oh, no, it's me. Sound like Mickey Mouse. I'm like, you're in charge of keeping the entire country safe with these missiles? And
that's
it looked like a kid.
Yeah.
It's literally playing video games. But then after I learned about this young man, I was like, well,
Right kid.
that's the right individual to have there. Some old ass man would be falling asleep. This kid's on it. So
Right.
it made me realize, man, these kids are young.
Young. And so
Makes
here
you
you
feel-
sit.
jeez.
Like, we're about the same age, I think. How old are you?
45.
45. I'm older. I'm 51. So I'm trying to put
You weather
myself
better
back.
than I do.
I don't know about that. I'm just trying to rewind a little bit. Not that I want to relive my life again. I love every ounce of my life, but I don't want to redo it. People are like, what if you could go back to 21? I'm like, count me out. Like, it's good. I love
Those
what I've
hard
done.
things that you're glad you're not going to ask for a second round.
I don't need a second round.
I don't want a
I'm
second
so
round.
thankful for them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy to get to the appreciation component. So back to your EMS thing. So now you've been working with EMS and first responders, I guess.
Yeah.
To help them digest and understand. Do you feel like the older they get, the easier it is for them? Or do you feel like some of them never understood how to process?
Well, I think we're going through like a two phases of it. I think back when my mom and when I was a kid in high school, because when Paul committed suicide, it was don't talk about it.
Who's Paul?
Paul was my little brother.
Okay.
My little brother committed suicide. He was 17. He was like the first blue chip All-American football player for Utah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so that's kind of my why for doing the services to first responders is the suicide rate was high, and the number, when I was kind of finding this transition thing to do, the number was 44. 44 individuals kill themselves a year or something like that.
In Utah?
In Utah. And that number spoke out to me because that was my brother's number. And at the time, it was this transition of like, what am I going to do? What can meaning, like, I don't need money. Luckily, I had a wife that took care of it for me,
She
right?
took the $100 chips off the blackjack
Yeah,
table every
exactly.
time you'd get one.
Yeah, told me no every Lamborghini I wanted to buy. So said a Honda Accord's fine, John. So she's made it so I haven't really needed a job, don't need anything but purpose. Like, what am I going to do for purpose? You know, I didn't want to just go coach. I felt like there was something more because I had this mental health thing that I wanted to do. My mom also had struggled from mental health. 4 or 5 years later, passed away as well.
So you lost your brother as well?
Yeah. So it was like this.
5 years after your brother?
Yeah, 4.5, 5.
Well, that'll send mental health into a spin.
Yeah. And so then while I was playing, made the All-Star team and then got the yips or the thing. You know what that is? The little Chuck Knobblocks, if you will. I got a prefrontal cortex injury.
From?
I slid into second. I think it was just recurring concussions off the head. The one in particular at the All-Star game, got a double. I was like high. Like zzz. The game before the All-Star game, I slid into second and hit second baseman's knee, breaking up a double play, and then my head hit the turf. I felt like I've never been this concussed. I felt like I was going to throw up. I remember being dizzy enough to tell the trainer, like, hey, I might need to come out. I feel like I'm going to throw up. But I stayed in the game, of course. And then I think I got a foul ball that game that made me feel really woozy. And then, of course, played or whatever. Next day or 2 days later, I was in the All-Star game, got a dog, and I was like zzz, buzzing. Didn't go to sleep for like 2 days. Like I couldn't. Like I couldn't come off of being
That high.
in flight or flight. Yeah, it was really weird.
So you stayed in fight or flight?
Yeah.
For 2 days after the game?
Yeah, it was really weird. Wow. So I, of course, told the mental health coaches, trainers, and everything that was going on. But
Is that scary to admit it?
Yeah,
you feel like you're going to have your
I didn't want to
it's
tell them
contracts and
first.
everything.
And that's kind of some of the stuff I do now by destigmatizing is share my story of how I was scared to do that. Yeah, there was some. I think Seattle probably let me go because I had the thing going on.
Sure.
And I was open.
And you're almost
about
like, I can't blame them.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
And then, like, I kind of fixed it and started working. So I really started working with mental health strength coaches. You've heard me talking about Jim Fannin, Tony Robbins. Started really working with the quality control coaches. Like, who are these people? Because I wanted to get back. You know, I was just in an All-Star game, had this thing going on. So I leaned into the mental health work of that. And remember, I really leaned into it because I just had this experience with my mom and my brother who didn't do it the right way. So it was like, this is in my DNA. There's something mental going on. And yeah, there was this yips thing going on, this anxiety thing. But what it was doing to me and to myself when I'm the most athletic guy in the world. I can't throw the ball 60 feet.
So explain to yips for people that don't understand it. Like we've talked about it, fortunately, at your house. We had a good understanding. And some people may not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the yips are like, it's the thing. They call it the thing. It's a post-traumatic stress syndrome of a baseball player. A lot of players have had it. They go to throw the baseball and your prefrontal cortex kind of takes over and it's like, what if I throw this away? It's kind of thrown to me. I never really threw one away. There's dramatic experiences. Sometimes they'll trigger. A lot of times, a very common one, guys warm up. You know how people walk behind people. They'll miss errant throw their throwing partner, hit somebody, hit them in the head or whatever. That dramatic experience, they feel so bad, develops the yips. So now every time they throw,
they get a hesitation.
The anxiety, and it really hits people hard to where it takes over their fight or flight system. Wow. So that is called the yips or the thing. I had that. A runner would
sudden onset.
Every time, just the light throw back to the pitcher. If a runner stole, I could throw it 100 from my knees down to second on a gnat's ass. And I would want that. I'd be like, please, because they'd be jacking around with me because I'd be back to the pitcher. And I'd be like, just please go. And then once they'd go, I'd get to show it off. And it was like, whew, okay. But it was like an anxiety thing. And it would hit me when certain at times. You've seen some pitchers do it to bases or whatever. It's just this anxiety thing that triggers and it hits you and it's hard to control. And so it takes a mental strength coach to kind of dial it in. Simone Biles, was in the Olympics, she had a little bit, if it's kind of the same thing, if you will. So when she goes up and has to do all those corkscrews, spins and everything, if your brain isn't singular in thought and you think, what if, you may not do a full rotation or whatever, which was happening to her, I wouldn't just let it go. I would just kind of throw it, and your body it's really weird. It's kind of, your brain takes over. So you have to kind of learn how to rewire your brain, and I kind of went in and doing that. And while you're doing it, of course, it's hard because you have to be nice to yourself. You have to like buy into your greatness again. And while you're doing that, I'm trying to make it in the major leagues, and the whole world, and even the game, and even myself, and me saying, you don't have what it takes. You can't throw to the pitcher right now. But yet I got to be competing. So you're fighting with that, and it takes its toll on you, and it's hard.
You know what's funny is that's a reference for pro baseball. But when you say have to rewire your brain, that is for every different human, period.
Yes.
Like we have bad experiences, we get fired from work, we have somebody talk negative about us in school, you see social media bashing or bullying for these little kids. Like they have to rewire. It's like, well, what is it?
Correct.
And one thing that I don't know who said this, but it's an awesome saying. It's like hate only comes from below.
Yeah.
Like one thing I've learned in my experience is the people that truly have been through it understand, respect, and appreciate what you're going through, and their hands are down, and they're ready to pull you up. And it's like, look, if you really care about the people from below, it's one thing. And sometimes the people that we respect and appreciate the most are below. And it's not that we're trying to put them on a financial level, a mental level, a height level. Like, that's not what we're trying to reference here. They just may be in a different phase of life. Yeah. So they're seeing you, either they think you're going to leave the nest of friends. Mm-hmm. They think that you're going to accelerate or pass them, get to a better school, get to a better team, get to a better whatever section in dance, for example, for my daughter.
Yeah.
like whatever that is, the people that talk the most negative or hate you the most have a tendency to be the people that are trying to keep you from beating them at anything. So as soon as you get the negative bullying, or you just need to learn to rewire that says, hey, there must be something where Derek Jeter felt you. He's like, he rewired it with, hey, are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
The same thing can happen like when your friends are hating you on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever. If you're at that stage in your life where you care, I love it. I mean, personally, it's one of those like, awesome. I really wanted that guy in his underwear sitting at his mom's house eating mac and cheese, yelling for a hot dog while he's sitting there giving his opinions on Reddit and Yelp. Like, I think that's great. Totally. Like, that's the guy. Hate me. I love that part. Just throw it at me, because I'm like, obviously he feels like we're leaving his team or whatever that may be. Not that I'm hoping. I probably was on his team at some point in my life. I'm not going to say I was. I don't remember having a computer at that stage, but at one way or the other, probably in some sense. But the whole trick for some of us is like, how do I rewire and appreciate the hate, which means I must be going in the right direction rather than letting him pull you back like an old spider web and keeping you in your nest. Like going, oh no, I'm doing something right. I can't see what I'm doing right, but whatever I'm doing, I got to keep doing. And then I'm going to move in the direction that I'm truly wanting to go. And here's the other thing. We may not want to be going in that direction. That's positive. But it's probably the right direction. And it's like, hey, look, who knows what the lesson is? And the other thing that holds us back is the fear of failure, of like, look, if I get there, like there's no way I could make the pro team, because what if I get to pros and I'm not who I was supposed to be? I'm sure you guys go through that thought process. Like they go and pay me all this huge salary and this big bonus, and then I can't deliver, and they have all this regret and discontent. And then I'm embarrassed for my friends because I never even got off the bench. Like, so I'm not going to try because I'm afraid of what that could look like. And it's that way for every career. Like, I don't want to go test for the fire department because they only hire 1 out of the 300 people or whatever. So I don't want to fail and learn that I'm a failure or whatever. Like, I don't want to try out for the team because whatever it is. And I think ultimately, the more we try, the more we fail, the better off we are because we have those experiences. The biggest problem I think most of us have is we forget to take inventory of a couple things. One, politics matter. A little bit. And sometimes our parents aren't who the parents are supposed to be. Sometimes we don't know the right person. And unfortunately, it's not fair. But life's not fair. So who gives a shit? It's not fair. Fuck it. Who cares? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is not fair. Life isn't fair. So then we have to say, okay, I need to keep going till the politics no longer matter. 2, my parents didn't send me to Ivy League training or any of that stuff. We didn't have the money. Fine, but I'm in the group. So I got to get through that piece and not hold grudges. Like, where are we? We're at where we're at because we're supposed to learn lessons that we're supposed to learn. Where we miss it is we forget to inventory the lessons on the loss. It's like, okay, where did I miss? So don't always give the credit to the politics, because that's not always the case. Did you screw up? Because if you screwed up, you screwed up. Own it. Who gives 2 shits? Like, there's always tomorrow. I screwed up. How? Laugh at yourself. Learn to laugh. Who gives a crap, right? The next, it's those simple things. Just like Derek, here you are sitting with that guy, and you're like, he doesn't screw up in our eyes. In his eyes, he's afraid of it every day, so much that it could get him into a headspace to where he's like, are we having fun yet? That he has to move headspaces. So it doesn't matter who we are and who we look up to. The difference between who we are and who they are is they've just learned how to inventory the bad experiences or the lessons, we'll call it. They've learned how to apply the lessons they've learned. They've learned how to say no to the things that they shouldn't. They've learned how to appreciate and capitalize on the negatives being thrown at them as fuel. Like, so how do we convert it? Like, how do we take the plastics from the ocean and make diesel? Right? There's ways. Same thing. How do we take the negatives and make jet fuel with it?
Correct.
Like, that's going to fuel me. It's just the way we process it. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to do. But it's like, live in your car for a year, inventory that stuff, learn how it can work, and then you'll leave your car feeling like you're a weapon, as long as you do it right. Like, and I'm not saying I did everything right. I mean, I was not a good human in my car. All I'm saying is I was able to at least inventory, like, okay, I won't ever do that, and I won't do that, and what would I have done different, and what would that have looked like if I would have made the right turn instead of the left turn? And I think I'm so thankful for those opportunities that I wish everybody could learn it. Like, I wish everybody, I know this sounds weird, had a chance to be a year in their car if they processed it the same way.
Yeah,
it's not
they
that I
got
want people
out
to
of it,
live in
yeah.
their car and then just go down heroin lane and just drink themselves to death and feel bad for themselves all day. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's like if you had a, let's say maybe not the car, but
You
isolation.
just want them bottom. You want them to feel that
Bottom's
bottom
awesome.
that there's nothing up.
Like I said, bottom is the hardest point to push from,
Yeah.
like to go. That is the best starting point you could ever have if you look at it as granite, because bottom is going to be rock bottom. There's a reference to rock bottom. It's a fucking rock. And what a great place to push from. It's better than swamp bottom. Like, let's give me rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like, because at least I have pressure to launch, right? Like, again, depression is just it's just a progressive. Depression is a step to on your way to happiness. It really is. It's like it's a phase.
Yeah.
We're going to go through it. We all should go through it. Now, don't let it own you. Don't let it occupy you. And then we have serotonin issues that make it so we can't. Truly process serotonin to where we can get through it. All I can say is there's some magic things that can happen during depression if you appreciate it and see it. That all of a sudden, I personally haven't suffered it for 30 years. I've been sad. I've seen some awful things.
Yeah.
But I haven't felt that loss of serotonin where I just didn't want to get off the floor for months, like lay on concrete floor and wish nothing but death on myself because I'm such a loser. Like that is something sounds weird, but I cherish that, being able to respect and appreciate and understand people going through it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, hey, weed. I mean, I know this is a weird reference point, but it's like people love weed. I get it. I've tried weed. I don't like it personally. I can understand if you're okay with that. Great, good for you. I tried. It's not my jam.
Yeah.
Depression, I tried it. I don't like how I felt. Now, most people don't, obviously. But it's like I'm glad I've had the opportunity to do it, which then in paramedics, let me relate.
Yeah, you understand.
I get it. Like I'm suicidal. I do get it. And brother, I hurt for you.
Yeah.
But I promise if you can inventory what you're feeling and you can capitalize on that power that you're sensing and learn how to turn those into like, don't do this, do that, and into positive pieces, then you're going to come out of that like, dude, all that shit that I've been through, good luck trying to beat me at this game. Because I can, and people probably can beat me every day, by the way. I'm not great. All I'm saying is at least in my head, I'm able to go blow the bubble. Like, this ain't nothing. Yeah. This ain't nothing. You know where I've been? Like, I love pig shit. I don't love pig shit, but like, I'm not afraid of it. Put me in the pig shit. You know what I mean? Like, I came out of that smelling like a rose. And it's not because I got lifted out of it. It's because I learned how to crawl out of it. And I learned what I was worth. You know, I brought up that reel that I said, hey, how I got a $100,000 job from living in my car. And I demanded $100,000 if I'm going to do this. And everybody says, you live in your car, why would you not just move out for anything? I'm like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't take $10 an hour to sweep your floor. I'm not. I would take $10 an hour, $10 for the day. I don't give a shit. Yeah. However, if you're going to ask me to do a specific thing that I'm good at, then I'm going to ask for that kind of money. And it's not worth doing that job and let you benefit from my power. Asking you to come in here and say, hey, listen, I want you to come play baseball for me. I'll pay you $10 a day or $30,000 a year. You're like, no. Like, I'll come, I'm broke. I'll be happy to clean your kitchen. I'll be happy to sweep your floor. I'll make your beds. I'll do your laundry for $10 a day. Yeah. But I'm not playing baseball for you for $10 a day. Yeah. That is my thing. Yeah. That's what I'm great at. You're going to pay what I'm worth over here, but I'm not saying that I'm too good to sweep a floor. Yeah. And I think we all go through that phase. So we say we're worth something. We are. And I loved a phrase from Warren Buffett. And I'm not trying to go down the net worth path, but he said, you're only worth what you're getting paid for at the exact minute the time's passing. So right now you're worth nothing in your hourly rate. I'm worth zero in my hourly rate, right? It doesn't change our net worth, but what are you worth? Well, my time's worth money, and I don't disagree. However, we bring this false belief that we become paralyzed in the thought process of what we're worth. Now, you can identify and fixate on the value of what your time is worth on certain skill sets, but don't exacerbate what you're worth on something you're not fucking good at. Yeah. Fair enough?
Yes.
So these little phases of where we hold ourselves back, pro ball, these guys that should be or could be or would be greater if they just understand experience is what they're missing, and the opportunity that they're sitting in with getting the experience from their heroes like you had, sitting in pro teams. Yeah, you may have been benched, but you're learning. Yeah. And as long as you don't beat yourself up, and then I don't know, there's so many relationships to EMS, fire, police, military, and pro sports, and whatever that may be, artists, dance, musicians. It's crazy if you just disorganize the.
Yeah, it's I think when you're able to take a first responder, put them in a sports scenario, and table their flight or flight or their mental skills or their mental aptitude, and table it where it's something a little more relaxed, like kind of what I do with baseball. For example, you put in the situation, and like, all right, hit these 10 balls. They'll hit 5 or 6 to the back right center of the cage, and then all of a sudden they roll over. And I watch them, and one, this is kind of a baseball drill. Like, how are they reacting to that first rollover? And that's funny because a lot of first responders,
They're competitive.
but, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
big league ball player. When I roll over one after hitting 6 perfect in their top, I don't say the things to myself that I hear these firefighters and first responders. Holy shit, they are so mean to themselves.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. I hit every single day, and I don't yell at myself like that. What are you doing? And I think they see how triggered their egos are of not being perfect. You're just hitting a baseball, round ball, round bat, and it's a little drill that I do. One, to show them like how quick their ego can show up and change their day. They just hit 6 perfect ones. Awesome. And then now you're going to motherfuck yourself just because of one ball, and you're saying some shit that's super mean to yourself, and now you got to get in there and face Verlander? Like, do you kind of get though? And then they kind of like, oh, like you're doing the hardest thing in sports. You better say something nice to yourself right now because it's a failing average that you got to compete to get to. So it's supposed to be hard. And so that little drill is a way to reframe to say, like, we're just tabling it, and the goal is to get flow status, be singular in thought. And then something bad happens, roll over, you hit the ball still, and then what is their habits? It shows them right away. And then I tell them, like, we just had SWAT come through, and I said, my cousin said, this is equivalent, like if he didn't clear the room, he left his man vulnerable to his left, he's pissed when he goes into the next room.
And then he's not thinking clear.
He's not thinking
You're
clear.
screwed.
Then he leaves the other 2 guys vulnerable. He's letting, that's his world
It's a
of my
compound
world. I keep swinging and getting more mad and swinging the sliders. Baseball world. Their world, they get mad, they may lose lives. They need to narrow down that skill set. So when I was able to table that, just in comparison, help them re-regulate what flight or flight is and what are those decisions that are going on that help them, then they're like, oh, that's a quality control coach. That's the third hitting coach on the bench saying, hey, don't get all amped up. Watch. Verlander's taking a deep breath before he throws that second breaking ball. Like, slow your mind down. Be present. Be so present that you pick these little things up rather than getting mad, mother effing yourself that you missed the slider. Because that's the same point that we're at that I demonstrate to the first responders. It's up to you. And the thing that me and you keep bringing up, those lived experiences so that Jeter can feel so confident, wink at me and tell this rookie, we having fun yet? It's that confidence of, please challenge me again. And I was like, oh, he's not fazed at all. And that was the feeling I was having. It's like you were saying, give me another challenge. We having fun yet?
Yeah, this is great.
And I was like, and what I was feeling right there, it was awesome.
Sometimes we just have to say it to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. We
Well,
don't.
you look at all the people in the Olympics. Look how they're all talking about, what are their mantra? What are they saying to themselves? A meme that I just saw, Vladdy Guerrero Jr., second. He was sitting there saying, you're the greatest hitter in the world. You got this. Ain't nobody can get you. And he's saying this during a big league at bat.
Outlaid.
He's one of the best hitters in the world right now. Verbally telling himself how great he is. After he swung and missed, by the way.
Yeah. But you have to. Like that Kenny Rogers baseball song.
Yeah, I love that one. That's the best song.
Right. So, I mean, you think about all these different things. And when you were referring to SWAT not clearing a room, you get on calls, and it's pretty crazy because all EMS, whether you're EMT, an EMT advanced, a paramedic, whatever, volunteer, full-time, all of it doesn't matter because the scenes we go on are about the same. You know what I mean? We have the same stuff. The thing that we take equity for, and we shouldn't, is like, man, I messed up this algorithm, this person died, it's my fault, and then they take this ownership of a problem. Now, is there an issue that we could have prevented or helped? Maybe. But ultimately, we didn't put them in this situation. Like, they were already there. Anything that we could do, even just showing up, is helping. Maybe not the person on the floor, but people in the car, people at the house, people around, whoever. We're helping just by being present.
Correct.
right? So then we take, like, I missed my IV, I missed my intubation, I missed whatever, I got the wrong algorithm, whatever. I didn't see that their sugar was low. I didn't see that they had overdosed. I thought it was something else. If I would have done that and I would have given Narcan, or if I would have given whatever, like, sugar, I didn't know that their sugar was 35. I forgot to check my sugar. Like, it's my fault they died. No, it's not. Like, medically, they were dying anyway. You were just there, and you do not get the right to take it. Could you have potentially had a different outcome? Maybe, but maybe not, and probably a higher likelihood of not. So, I mean, thank goodness that we're all there, but the problem is that starts the drip. Like, getting in the fire world and the EMS world and the police world, like all of those, military world, is something that we're willing to sacrifice our own, I guess, potentially mental stability, because we're going to see things that you shouldn't see. You see the bottom 2% of the world, and I'm not saying that the people you're going on are the bottom 2%, but the worst things that happen every day. Correct. So literally, I don't know how many times an ambulance has been to your house. How many? Probably can count on a hand.
Maybe once.
Once, right? Yeah. So most people have a 1 ambulance call, 2 in a house. So it's their worst day.
Yeah.
So their worst day of every single person you get to see. Now,
365.
Let's leave out the people that are taking advantage of
correct.
Obamacare and all the stuff that goes with that, and their free rides to the hospital and their free meals. Like, that's a different scenario, and we all know that, even if you're serving in that service. But there's the ones that really are their first. It is their worst day. So your job is to go participate in everybody's worst day. Mm-hmm. And so then if you think about when you're signing up to do these type of jobs, that you're signing up to go participate in the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone, at least in that family, every single day of your life, on every single page, call out, whatever, and that you get tapped on. So you're going to their worst. So you're participating in the worst day for every single person you get tapped by. And then if you have and I'm going to say audacity to say it's your fault, probably a little bit too much equity you're giving yourself. This isn't right, but it's not yours. Yeah. It's not your fault. It's not yours to take. You don't even have the right to take it. You just are the guy that's supposed to be, level-headed, good at what you do, and confident enough to do it under pressure. Mm-hmm. It's the All-Star game, at bat, or catch, or pitch, or whatever. Every single task. Everyone. Yeah. It could be a rabbit scratch all the way to a gunshot wound or whatever, right? Yeah. You have to be at your best. That's a tall order, and we're not going to ever be. There's going to be days where
you're expected to be.
In your heart. And the problem is most people understand that you're going to perform at an 80-85% average. Like, that's what B's are. Mm-hmm. C's are average. But like, we want to be at a B, and we want to actually be A's, but we expect us to be A+ all the time. Well, you're up all night, you're up all day, you had the worst thing, you rolled up hose, it's freezing cold, it's burning hot, it's whatever, right? There's just no way that you should take that equity. Mm-hmm. It's not for you. Yeah. But we end up taking it. And then when you're really young and you haven't learned how to experience losses, and here's something you're going to hate. Heaven forbid you got hired on your first fucking job application, because then all of a sudden you're the rock star, and like, you didn't get no higher. It took me years to get hired full time, a long time. Yeah. Like, it felt like years, maybe not that, but it felt like a lot of failures, right? Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, there's all these great people, and they are great. I'm not saying they weren't. However, that helps, because you're like, look, I lost, and you have this appreciation. I think if we don't lose first and then get it, then you have a little more appreciation if you lose. If you don't lose, then you're like this expectant, kind of like, you're entitled to always be the best. And it's just not the case. And then I think that's why we see such suicide rates and depression rates. It's not because of what we see. It helps, but it's how we process what we've been going through. And it's not, again, I have a lot of friends like, you got PTSD? I'm like, no. Am I broken? Because I don't have any. Yeah. I have zero, at least from what I know about. I don't lose sleep. I've never lost sleep. Whatever. Like, I've seen some pretty ugly stuff. And there's people that have been in the job a lot longer than I have and seen a lot more ugly stuff. And I'm not trying to say that. All I'm saying is it doesn't bother me, and it's because of the processes, the way we have to cue it up. I was fortunate enough, and this is not to get too much off tangent, but I think it matters in the example set. When I got my uniform, and I don't remember who it was. I wish I could give credit to who it was, but we get a badge shirt. Mm-hmm. And then you see sheriffs have a star badge. Others have shields. Fire guys have shields, right? He said, hey, that shield is not it's not an example of that. This is just to shield what's from the outside coming into you, and it's supposed to stop what you're saying from entering your heart. It's not going to stop a bullet. It's just stopping the exterior environments from entering into your heart, into your brain, and into your soul. It's what you see stays outside.
Okay.
And this weird process of like, I put on the uniform, I'm at work. It never entered like, I'm not cold. Like I get that. Like people die, but they die.
I understand.
It's just like I didn't let it emotionally affect my state.
Yeah.
I can
You
go in from
equipped
one
it.
to the next,
Yeah.
to the next. Got my badge on. And then I saw this call, which was really, really weird. Driving home, it wasn't on a call. I'm in the fast lane. This car passes me on the left in the dirt, going like 110 miles an hour. The semi's in front of me. All of a sudden I see this, it's an avalanche. It was a white avalanche. Veer left, hit the median, or hit this bridge. Car blows up in flames. Semi-truck driver, old, fat, retired guy from Ohio, and me jump out of the car, and we're cranking on this dude, trying to get him out of the car that's completely crushed inside the steering wheel. I'm not on duty. I'm just a passerby.
But you're just
He has an
reacting.
IAFF hat on, so I knew he was a fire dude. I'm like, hey, I'm still full-time fire at Roy. We're trying to crank this dude out of the truck. He's stuck. Prosthetic leg, or not hip replacement, gets caught on the door jamb when we're trying to pull it out, and rips out of his body. It was a weird call, right? So long story short, he ends up passing away. What was weird is I ended up thinking about this guy after, which never happened. I literally just got off duty of calls. It never happens. And I'm like, is that, and again, it was probably this subconscious programming I put in my head. I didn't have my badge shirt on.
Yeah.
Is that how it got in?
Your pregame.
My pregame. It was like, that must have got in that way.
So
So
that's thanks for sharing that. That is some of the examples that when we talk about pregame, in-game, and post-game. We have a first responder who his name's Clay, and he was a Sandy Sandy police.
okay.
And he speaks to those and talks about how priming and post-game review, which we stress, those are the two arenas that seem to have the best benefits. Like you said, it arms them, lets them, your psyche kind of understand, hey, like that shirt, this is going to happen. I'm priming myself. I'm prepared for this.
And stuff can't get in. And it never did.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think that just goes to show the processes and we always talk about getting different types of tools, because being able to identify who you are and what you're about, like understanding what affects you or what affects me is different. So putting in the work to understand I emotionally get triggered off of these things has been something I know Clay really presses to the first responders. Just being aware, because I know the way I am even as a ball player. I know my brain goes. So that when I see that, and I'm doing a scouting report, really good as a catcher. I get information, I think 2-3 hitters, that's great. As a hitter, we just talked about the whole hour right here about Jeter trying to reduce his thoughts. Me knowing that, I take those type of things really serious when I'm hitting. And so I understand that. So same thing as we pregame and understand first responders, how they are, it helps them, like you said, put on that shirt. I think it really puts you in that primed up in the zone,
Ready for the game.
operator mode. It is defense, because the normal person brain, your normal person brain that just saw
It was
that,
weird. Yeah.
it feels it.
It felt
and
weird.
it's not. It's you're not supposed to feel those things, because emotionally, as normal people,
I hadn't
ain't normal.
pre-gamed.
Yeah, you didn't
I
pregame.
had
You weren't
pregame.
in
It
your
wasn't
first
even there.
responder
I
brain.
just got off duty. I literally had left duty,
Shows you.
driving home after work. This is like 8:30 in the morning
Yeah.
or so, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, literally just got done doing this. You know?
But if you learn, like, it's funny because as athletes and in training for sports, we think in pictures. What recalls and triggers up bad feelings is recall. A lot of times you think about triggered of the body you said you saw. Like, you would see those things, or what things people bring up, you think in pictures. So if we can start replacing those pictures or setting that picture of what we want, hard fastball, middle of the way, right center, right? And that's what we replay. You putting on that T-shirt, seeing yourself being as this hardened, protector, if you will. I think that's your equipping. That's you pre-gaming. I'm prepared. I'm ready, and it's like an outward expression, like with that
Agreed.
shirt.
Yeah.
And I could see how that would, psychologically.
Yeah,
be
good luck entering
beneficial.
this. I've got on bulletproof here.
Yeah.
Because of this. And so the aura or the feeling's not going to enter me. and so I could do calls pretty good. I was good at it, at least I thought.
Yeah.
Most people feel like they're good at it, I guess, in that career, and they should be. Yeah. You know what I think is interesting, though, is that tells you how much our brain has power over the way we feel and react and understand and appreciate and forgive and forget and learn, like all before the game.
This is a piece of your brain. It's protruding out of your head is your eyeballs. So you think about that, what we see and optically what we take in. We have a guy named Ryan Harrison, who's my business partner. He is, if you see guys like in the big leagues, they look inside their hat. They're looking in their hat, or they look inside their helmets and stuff, why they're on deck or even why they're hitting. It's a company called Slow the Game Down, and it has these 2 bullseye targets that they'll put like a sticker in their hat or on their helmet. And when you look at that and it brings that in together and it 3D puts it together and then pops out. When you're doing that and your eyes are doing that, you can't be thinking about Verlander's breaking ball. It won't 3D protrude out. So if you can get that and hold that and then do these exercises we're doing, your brain is closer to a locked-in flow state. You're closer to the zone than if I were just like, hey, I'm going to be ready. Being able to stay singular in thought, make your eyes do that. It's a weird thing. They call your eyes are coning. Like when you're hitting, your eyes cone to a certain area. You've seen pictures, and they call it funneling. Right. So when our eyes are doing,
why don't they do that for fire, police, CMS? Like if they could do something like that really quick.
We actually have. When you come to our things, we give you stickers and tools to do this while you're on post. Yeah.
So here's the thing: we've talked a lot about what you're doing. We haven't called. What is it? What's the name? Shit, everybody's gonna be like
level up performance.
I
think we got too excited just talking about the tools and what.
So
they
mission
need.
Statement for level up performance, if there is one.
Yeah, we bring mental health services to first responders and give them tools, tips, and tricks to deal with their tough job, pre-game, in-game, and post-game tools, and then give them a lived experience through the day so they can feel their flight or flight go up and go down, so they have a lived experience of like, what is this anxiety thing? And we trigger them. We have a company called EII that a lot of the chiefs, and what they do is they write a script for me, a lot of peer-to-peer association, peer ideation, like where the first responders are suicide ideation, where they can engage in the conversation when you're kind of triggering it, because a lot of times, as you guys know, that you guys are your first line of defense, so getting that peer-to-peer conversation out in the open is kind of the idea of it. I've done it for the last 2.5 years, and then on June 13th, having a game with Huntsman Mental Institute Foundation and the Miller organization. We're out at the new ballpark, and we're having a game.
Awesome. That's awesome. With all the EMS people.
Yeah, so
or different, not all, but
yeah, I've been doing tryouts for the last 3 or 4 months. I've been doing the services for 2 years, but what we're doing is one fire. So I have 14 guys on fire, 14 on police. They're going to play a 5-inning game. Then we'll have an intermission, and then I have Hill Air Force Base and Utah National Guard.
Oh, freaking fun.
And and they'll play each other.
How great is that? And so that'll be your full 10 innings, I guess. You're going to play 10?
Yeah, so we'll play that, and we do by a machine just so it can move up. Some of them aren't happy. It's the first year of doing it. You've heard about hoses and shields, hockey. I'm really trying to make the
guns
push.
and hoses.
Yeah, guns and hoses. So I'm really trying to make that baseball version, and while we're doing it,
and the Millers jumped on board, said, hey, come use our arena or come use the baseball
field.
field.
The field. And then the Huntsman Mental Institute Foundation said, hey, we're trying to get into sports. I said, hey, I played sports. Let's hang out, do something.
Let's give
propose
back.
This game. Been told them what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. I have a real good friend named Ken Krasner. He's the senior marketing director of Major League Baseball. He's helped me guide me. Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's a good dude.
He's helped me and guide me so that I can kind of take this passion piece and, communicate to the right people. So he's been a godsend angel, right? And so he's made it so that we're able to make contacts with the right people to make a game, to make a big impact in our community. And so it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And June 13th. So here's the question. If people want to get into Level Up, what do they do? Is it through their department? Is it something they can just get online?
Yeah, so I've been doing it.
Because people are quiet, like they're proud. I'm thinking in my in my friends, like
Yeah.
they should go do something, but they don't dare. They feel like they're exposing their biggest
Yeah.
weakness. So how do they do that on the
Totally.
DL?
And how I did that is, one, I went out and found out that there are requirements through the state. First responders are required to have a certain amount of hours of mental health services. So I thought, all right, perfect. That's what the standard. They have to go do that. It takes away the feeling I had. I didn't want to go tell Dayton Moore that the Royals, like, hey, I got the thing right now. I feel super nervous throwing the ball back to the pitchers. Not really something you want to tell your boss,
Sure,
right?
ever. Yeah.
Because I can't really do my job the way I can. So you don't want to say that, but yet you want to tell them so you can get help, because you know they have the help that's probably going to make you better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this weird thing of being able to say it. So I thought, all right, if I can create something where I can go operate with inside their requirement hours, and then while I do that, just flood them with stuff that they need, that they're there, like destigmatize it, make them have fun, and then engage them afterwards is kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I thought, all right, trick them, make them come play sports, and then throw a sports psychologist at them for their mental health hours.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, here's this mental health services. It's not a PowerPoint, because at the time, all their mental health services that I did
death
research
by PowerPoint.
was death by PowerPoint.
Yeah,
So I was like,
every day.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start out with the 10 balls in the back of the cage. That'll be my first station.
Are you doing this at your house? Where you
I
doing?
do. I do it. Actually, I've done them at DBATS. I've done Mountain West Baseball Academy. I've done them at
So you just go wherever?
baseball facilities. I've actually done it in 2 companies where I've went in. They've had gyms and stuff. Well, basketball court, I bring in my stuff, do the whole thing. I have 5 stations. I do a hitting station where I give a hitting. Then you go to the mental strength coach. I have Nicole Dietling, who's with Headstrong. She had, I think, 4 Olympic gold medalists this year in the ski and the Winter Olympics. She is a station. Then Ryan from Slow the Game Down teaches what your eyes and what concentration. Are we hearing? Are we seeing? And obviously in first responder, it's pretty pertinent to their job.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to a EII where the chiefs write, and I have 6 actors that are Disney actors.
Okay.
And they pop up on the screen, so it'd be like a movie screen. You interact with that individual, and it's timed. Your response time, your eye movements, what you're saying is all tracked and kind of put into data. So you're usually, that person has suicide
Have you heard of
ideation.
Canary Speech?
Of what?
Canary Speech.
I have not.
You need to. He's awesome. I'll get your information after. 45 seconds of your voice can tell you what's mentally going on with you.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
what
it's all AI. So this guy, it's freaking awesome. You ought to talk to that guy. He's a stud.
Yeah, I will.
It looks like, I shouldn't say. I was a passenger by him on the plane, and it's probably going to be one of the biggest exits in the
Yeah,
state.
I think that's huge, especially because
45 seconds of voice.
Quick a
Like,
conversation.
He's like,
can
talk to
change
this. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I am brilliant. No, that's not what it said at all. Just kidding. It's
You
not at all what
can
it said.
Throw a little AI in there. I'm a
Yeah,
genius.
but oh, dang it. So then that's one station, EII.
Yeah. So you get to have this peer review, and it measures your response time and everything. And then from there, then you go to the hit tracks, and then you hit in a measured machine. You get to see how far you go and everything. And then I actually have Josh Berkman. He was a MMA fighter. He was the People's Warrior. He was one of the first one on Dana White, if you remember. That house I grew up playing baseball with him. And he was kind of, like I told you, I had boarded advisors. He was this guy when I came home. He was making it MMA. I was making it in MLB. But we were both from Utah, both struggling in church, not church. This thing just only a Utah person would understand, right?
Growing up in a ward of like, I'm the only guy that didn't go on a mission.
Yeah.
With like 72 boys.
The fact that you even said
tough.
ward, mission, and all that, you say that to another teammate.
They're like, I don't even know what you're talking
what?
about.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, Bryce Hopper wears weird underwear? What?
Yeah,
So
right.
like, that's all normal for us Utah people. But so to be going through that and to have it be a part of it, Josh was that board advisor. He was going through that fame, riches, and fame, just people knowing you, not knowing you, being from Utah. He was that. And there is a part of that that he was going through. So he was like that board advisor. So when we came home and I started telling him about this, he's like, I'm in. Because he's really about breath work and movement. When I came to him in the offseason, I had a piriformis syndrome going on because I squat for a living. And so he was doing this Budokan movement. Have you seen that Budokan? Animal movements. Cameron Haynes.
Yeah, I know Cameron Haynes. Yeah.
So he studied under him. So I started working
Archery
with him.
Cameron Haynes. Right?
Cameron Haynes. Yeah, that's the archery. Maybe I'm Cameron Shane.
Shane. Okay. I was
That's
going to say Haynes is a hunter. I watch him.
Budokan. He's the movement guy. Okay. All the same crew. They all follow.
All hang out each other. Well, they're all Dana White and Joe Rogan people anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I started working with him and doing that. So he does a lot of breath work. So the priming part of the first responders, he starts it off by really getting intimate and understanding what your thoughts and being present. And I really open up how we started up. I open up, tell him my experience with him, that it took the baddest ass guy in Utah to soften myself. If this guy can be like, there's this sensitive side to you. You can't just like,
oh yeah, I cried Disney.
Yeah. And so
he was a freaking Monsters Inc. I'm bawling like a girl.
Yeah, exactly. It took this badass fighter to get to where I was softening myself to where I was able to humble myself to what you said. Like, you're not doing this. You're not cutting it. You got to do the work because you're not cutting it. You're not being a good husband.
Nobody wants to hear it though.
No. And I think that
it's hard
to me. It was the hardest because, like you talked about, everything came easy to me. Got drafted out of high school. I'm in the big leagues with never failing yet. And then all of a sudden I can't throw the ball back and I still haven't really failed. Like, how am I
I call it the Britney Spears syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, like she never lost. And when she did, it was like this train accident and never recovered. But it's like, we say fail fast, fail frequent. You hear that pretty common. It's like one of those, like the opportunity, if you have a career like you or like Britney Spears, and I'm obviously two different
Thanks for making me like Britney.
You look a lot alike.
Thanks.
I mean, you're both beautiful.
Shaved head now.
That's great. The twins, hence the fail. But like, if you don't fall until you get to the top of the mountain, that fall's really freaking big.
Yeah.
So no one wants to fail. But if we can embrace it and fall like 8 inches at a time, it doesn't hurt. You probably won't even sprain your ankle.
Yeah.
But it's still a fall backwards a little bit.
I think you learned to reframe it as not a fall, like you said.
It's just a trip, right? It's nothing. So the quicker we can find, appreciate, respect, and see that we missed or we messed up, instead of like trying to shove it away, and then we're still doing these wins, and we want the world to think we're winning the whole time without being vulnerable. And then what they see is you're at the top of the mountain. Everybody feels like you're at the top of the mountain. I'm at the top of a mountain. Neffy's at the top of a mountain in his game, wherever that is. The world could perceive. I mean, Neffy's had some hundreds of millions of views. This guy's a rock star. So you come in and you say, hey, they're top of their game. Like, how do I get to Neffy's level? How do I get to your level? How do I get to my level? By the way, Neffy's behind the cameras. Amazing social media guy. Do not steal mine. We'll come after you. So that being said, we give so much appreciation to rock stars and then we start to drink our own Kool-Aid. Like, I'm a rock star. I'm the best. I'm this. And we haven't learned to lose. And we haven't even taken it, because all those guys lost. Brittany's lost along the way, but you have to hide it. So they see, the world wants to see the ice tip, or the tip of the iceberg, not the climb on the way up. I mean, I'm not trying to make her career look easier than anybody else's. However, when the world does see a fall and you haven't been celebrating your little failures and you haven't digested a failure at once in front of anyone, then all of a sudden that fall hurts. It's massive. Like, it's a huge public piece. You know, and if you think about, I brought this up in the past, we all have these mountain ranges. Everybody's like, I want to be the top. What is the top? What does that mean? Right? The top of what? Right? It's in baseball. Well, that's only one mountain. There's 1,000 mountains. The top church, the top of whatever. Like, you can go on and on and on to be the best of whatever it is. Well, we get to what we call the peak, and then it's like, well, you know, where from there? Well, if you're going to go anywhere from there and you're at the peak, where do you have to go?
Go down.
You have to go down. It's just natural. You can look out our front windows. Thank goodness you live right where we live. And you can say, that's the highest point here. But if I want to go to that point, which is a different experience, and we all better go through these different experiences, you've got to go to the bottom. And another thing I told my son, I said, look, and I think I've used this in podcasts, and so forgive me if you've heard this before, but it's like, when you're at the bottom of a valley, there's so much grass and so many trees and so much water. It's super easy to hang out. There's no pressure. There's bunnies, there's freaking birds, there's pheasants. You can eat like a king. You got deer, you got elk, you got moose. You got everything you want at the bottom of the valley. And that's why 98% of the people live there. And I'm not saying if you live in the bottom, I'm not trying to use that as a reference to negativity, by the way. It's pretty easy. But then if you're going to try to climb to the top of the peak or be your solo person in the one pine tree at the top of rocky cliffs in front of your house, you've got very few trees along the way. You'll see it's super thick. It gets a little bit less thick. And then you see less trees and more grass. And that grass is cheat grass, right? There's still a lot of people trying to get there. Or they want to represent themselves that they're going up the hill. And then you'll see one less tree, one less tree, one less tree. And then you see this one lone tree that comes out of a rock cliff, right? So that guy's all by himself. And there's no more cheatgrass even because they couldn't get there. And the problem is you're going to see less and less friends as you separate yourself from the valley, right? That's the 98%. At least this is how I had to teach my kid at 15, right? When he's going through his phases. Like as you start to climb and improve yourself, there'll be less trees for you to hold on to and support you. It feels like everybody's on your team and you got your herd and you got trees all around and you're at Quake and Aspen Grove and you're a freaking pine tree. You just got trees. And then you got grass and rabbits and it's super easy. You got beer, you got girls, you got whatever. Yeah. Right? Then you try to leave it. And then everybody's like, dude, why would you leave? It's the valley. Like we've got all this fun greatness. And then you try to climb up the hill and you'll see there's less animals, there's less food, there's less friends. You've got one other tree. And the goal is to not count on cheatgrass because as soon as you trip, on going up a hill, you start grabbing at all these fake friends, cheatgrass. They're not holding you anywhere, man. They're going to let you go, and you're going to keep rolling down the hill. And there's every once in a while, there's a couple good trees, and then you're going to grab that one oak that's got that far up the hill so far to help you stop the fall. So you need to understand there's not very many that can hold you when you're trying to climb. Fair enough. Yes. It's going to relate with you where you're at today. And it doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser or a pro baseball player. If you're trying to be the best of whatever that is, there's only so many bests. There's only so many people that want to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. The other people are like, dude, why are you doing it? You're making me look bad. You know, you get into anyway, I won't get into the government talk, but don't try too hard, right? Because you're going to make us look bad. However, when you get to the top and you sit there like, I've won, well, if you're a guy that wants to win and be a winner, you're going to have to go to the next ridge because you end up becoming complacent sitting there all by yourself. And then you're like, I need another challenge. Well, what you fail to see is you're going to take some tumbles all the way down and you're going to have some opportunities and you're going to also have some temptations like yourself. I'm going to use you. You're going to top of your game. That game comes to an end. You're in the, not now, but you're in a valley where everything's full. You got everything. Cars, houses, money. You don't have to worry about anything. I'm happy in a valley. What happens to a lot of people, though, is we get in our valley, and it's complacency a little bit. We're not pushing our mind that we're meant to build and do something bigger. Totally. You don't have to do anything more. So what you said, your purpose, which is the most magical word, it doesn't have to do with money. Again, you can say, well, he's got money, that's easy. You can use that as your excuse if you want. I don't care. It's your thing. But if we don't have purpose, we have nothing.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter if you have money or not. But if your purpose is to do whatever that purpose is, it's pretty tempting for people that have got their first exit, had their first big check, to sit in the valley of happy in their heart of what they thought happy was. I got my car, my boat, my house, my four-wheeler, my vacation house, my plane, whatever. It's pretty empty. Everything's made in China, by the way, or parts of it anyway.
There's probably 3 versions.
You got a Louis Vuitton purse, you've got whatever. I don't give a shit. Like at the end of the day, that's not happy. What happy is purpose. What made you happy on your way to your freaking baseball mission, on the way to your first failure? You're gonna fail, and like yours is like you no longer get to be the pinnacle. You get the yips, you get whatever reasons to not be. You're down in the valley, but look at how lush it is. People that find themselves parked in lush, regardless of if it may be barren to them or maybe comfortable, it's hard to stay happy there. And then all of a sudden, all you can do is reflect on what you were or what has been instead of creating what could be. So what I love is what you're doing with Level Up. Like, thank you. It's purpose-driven, doesn't pay what it paid, I'm sure.
No, I'm finding I'm playing out a lot more.
Weird. It's like, but you know what? That's such a give.
It's so much. It's the reward, like you're saying, the reward is completely different. I feel like I'm after souls. Like I know that
pays better, right? The soul feels much better than a paycheck.
I just feel like that soul will bring so much more to the world. Like if I'm really thinking, like when you're bringing this up and they're saying this purpose, it feels good because it's like, oh, I'm doing what like when I wanted to find, I didn't have to have a job, I didn't have to do these things, but like what I wanted to show my kids, and I'm working hard. Like there's nobody that works harder than me. But how do I do that and show them, demonstrate what I'm doing is meaningful? And I feel proud because I see all three of my boys, like when they talk about a hero or like some that I think is cool, it's usually military, first responder, and the respect that they bring them and they talk about. It's like, all right, my purpose, I'm doing it right because I am hustling so my kids see that I'm not just sitting in the valley, like you said.
Look how lucky I
am.
am.
Definitely feel that there's this responsibility to show my boys, like, this is how you conduct a life.
Well, I think it's weird because in school they teach like, well, when you retire, like that's this end goal, this end state. And you see so many people in the fire, EMS, police world that they retire, they're done. And I mean, literally dead.
Yeah.
Like they don't last very much longer after that. Purpose is such a fuel and it's such an excitement. Like when you say, hey man, why don't you, I get this question a lot. Why don't you, from my own wife, bless her heart. Like I love her to death, but she's like, when's enough enough?
Yeah,
I'm like, I wish you understand, right?
She says that.
Like,
I get that a lot.
We could do whatever. It's like, when's enough enough? I'm like, it has nothing to do with stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care about money. I don't care about buildings. I don't care about any of it. But what I do care about is the challenge. Like, and even worse, what I'm looking for, and this is a break, and I'll admit it, is I'm looking for the failure, like the fuck you, you're not good enough to do this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that. And I'm not saying, and by the way, I have a lot of misses and a lot of losses that you don't get to hear about because there's a lot of stuff on my plate and I'm happy to share, and I don't give two shits. You know what I mean? Yeah, I shit my pants. Okay, so what? You know what I mean? Yeah, I sucked that up really, really bad and I lost. But there's a lot of tries I get, swing and misses all day.
So much
and the
learning.
only thing the newspaper talks about, the only thing that people want to talk about on podcasts is talked about the wins. Well, I think it's fun to sit in a studio like this. Like, what about the losses though? And how does it affect you? And how do we get through it? Because I believe that 98% of the people that are not going to their top performance level is either can't recover from their loss, can't recover from their experience, like negative, positive, whatever that may look like. Can't get over the anger they have because their parents didn't pay for their school, or they didn't get born in the right family, they're the wrong color, they're the wrong race, they're the wrong nationality. Like I beg to differ, and I know I'm a 40, well, I lied. I'm a 50-year-old white guy, which has all the things. I guess that's what the world gives.
Yeah.
They weren't giving me all the things when I lived in my car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I had no money. I had a lot of cigarettes and rock stars, and like that's it. I didn't even have a cell phone, and they weren't there to bail me out. But I mean, I guess outside speaking, you could say that we have different opportunities, and we have to live in our own shoes, and we have our own lenses, and we can either have excuses or not have excuses. But I can say that I drive to try to fail, and I'm failing a lot. And it's not that I want to share that not that I don't want to share it publicly, but it's almost like, you know how there's people that have like cutter's syndrome?
Yeah.
Like they just like to cut themselves just to know they're real or something. I guess it's like almost that. Like I want to try it, something that's really, really hard that people say that you can't do it. And then you're like, oh, they're right. Well, they're not going to be right, those sons of bitches. I'm going to go prove them wrong. And I lost. And it's like almost that. And it's not that I'm trying to do that, but I guess I strive for the feeling of what lesson I can learn.
Okay.
So I can then harden my stone and then sharpen my blade to the point where it's diamonds and razors, right? It's like literally, what is it that I can do that will make it so I lose, that I can respect and appreciate that I'm not what the paper says and I'm not what the TV says. I don't like my Kool-Aid. I don't want to drink my own Kool-Aid outside of this silly shit that you put up with your name on it and the bullshit that the world requires you to do so you can get social media followers and you can get kind of leverage and you can share your story. And the level of like wanting to get followers and wanting to build a social brand has nothing to do with what it's going to pay me. I could give two shits. By the way, I've never made any money on my podcast. I've always just paid. So I don't care. Like, but at the same time, if I can verbalize and hear how other people are processing, it's this learn. Right? I love YouTube. I love learning. Like all my YouTube stuff is just learn. That and Midwest safety. Like I love watching body cam videos too. So that's fun. I just think, man, there's so many people, if we could just help them. Yours is help them process. Mine is like, if we can just say a word that it says, hey, look, you quit blaming everybody. It's not you're over 18, you can't blame your parents. Sorry, like get over it. You now have the opportunity. My guys at Murphy Door, they have 100% tuition opportunity, reimbursement opportunity. So cool. When they leave here and they say, hey, I never had the opportunity to go to school, I'm like, you don't get to say that anymore. Yeah, your parents didn't get to pay for that. I said, I'll pay for it. I'll give you 100% of your tuition if you get A's, cool. 75 if you get B's, 50 if you get C's. I don't participate after average. Sorry, it's on you. Like, I think you can take one class, you can take as many as you want. We'll pay for it. And I don't give two shits what you study. I don't care if it's underwater basket weaving or whatever, but I want them to take away excuses. It's not because I want them to go to school and leave me and whatever. It's like, I want them to not have an excuse on why they didn't push themselves to the best and purpose, right? Correct. What is your purpose? I don't want to steer your purpose. Like, you have to go to school for whatever Murphy Door needs you for, because that's what I'm willing to pay for. No, I don't care. Yeah. You want to go to baseball school? Fine. Do the best you can at baseball school, because that's what you said you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You said you wanted to be an EMS, fire, police. I'll pay. Just do it.
Just go max.
Do max, because that's what I expect. If you want, because I mean, people say, well, Murphy Door is paying for it, and that is true. However, where does the net margin come from?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still my money, right? Yeah. And so they have a tendency to say, well, it's Murphy Door. It's Murphy Door. It's Murphy. It's all net profit.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right. I think they forget. And I'm not trying to give myself a pat on the back, but the whole point of that is saying, it's like, look, don't fold. Yeah. Like, push yourself out of the valley, push yourself out of comfort. Like, these are such common, I guess, things you hear. They're phrases that everybody uses so haphazardly that we become numb to it. But I think if you give it a second and digest what you're really trying to say, it's like, just push past your comfort. Like, talk about the things you want to share.
We'll talk about how common and uncomfortable it is for everybody too. I think if you end up starting to chat, you know, now that we in this stuff, we get a lot of the first responders talking and saying, you know, because we table it with sports, this is going on, this human thing, and then there's so much, like,
it's easier.
Yeah,
talk
easier,
about
like,
it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this call's getting just like that hitting thing. Like, I could see them talking and expressing and doing that. So I think the more we normalize how hard their jobs are, so that they, like, the better that they talk about themselves,
the better they'll be.
Oh, the better all of us will be, because
they're there to serve.
They're putting on that
ready.
mask. Yes, correct.
So you think, I had my daughter Annie. She's now 15, and so she cares more about what people think. I've tried to teach my kids early on, like, if I can teach you anything as a dad, there's only one thing I want you to learn, and that's to give two flying fucks what other people think about you. If you can get to the point where you do not care at all what anybody thinks about you. Well, Annie took it to the next level. Like, when she was little, it was like, your pants are 4 years too short. Your hair, you haven't combed it in 8 days. She's like, I don't care. I don't care what other people think. She would be beautiful.
She sounds like my son Cooper.
I love that kid. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, why do you care what people think? Dad, you know, she's 15, going to be 16 in September. I get it. But it's like, I missed the little one. Now, if we could all just take the lesson of, like, if you did not care what other people think, and the game was just you, and the whole thing was just you, and you lived in this world of, what was that Jim Carrey movie where it was just him?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember the name, but what kind of the Matrix type concept. If you could be that, would you be processing the losses the same? You wouldn't at all. Like, if you screwed up on the call, or you screwed up at the game, or you screwed up at work, or you whatever, if you tripped and fell in front of everybody at the mall, you walked into the water fountain because you were on the phone, and everybody's watching you during an event, and you sharded, whatever. Yeah. Like, at the same time, if you were by yourself, it wouldn't matter. So then if you learn how to not care what other people think, that puts your ability to process risk at a different level. And then you're like, I just don't care. Like, if I can tell you this, and I'll say it to the camera, I'll say it to you, I could give two shits if I went bankrupt tomorrow. And I'm not saying that as a risk factor. Like, if someone said, how about not bankrupt? How about just all your money's gone away?
Can't touch it.
Yeah. Don't care. Yeah. Like, I truly don't care. Is it fun to have it and be able to go on vacation? I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah.
It's sure nice. Okay.
But
I can tell you this. We talked about this on the phone the other day. Without it, my family was tighter.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
It was tighter. Mac and cheese or ramen noodle with a little egg and peas in it was close. And candlelight dinners because your power shut off is pretty cool at the end of the day, when you're not embarrassed as the dad, because I'm embarrassed that I didn't make the power bill, and you're humiliated because you've worked your ass off, and your garage door won't open, and your wife's like, I didn't dare tell you because you had no money. well, you're not going to do anything about it anyway, so why do you give a shit?
Yeah.
So like if there wasn't an audience there, would anybody care if I hit the garage door and didn't open other than me? If I was by myself? Probably not. Probably not. So what levels of risks would we take? What things would we push ourselves to do? Where would we be if we could quit the care of what they're going to post on social media about us?
Yeah, it's so true. It was Jim Fannin had this
Back to you.
drill.
How would you have felt? Like, do you care? If you had the yips,
Yeah.
would you have gave two shits?
Well, here's the thing. A drill that I started to do, I started telling you, because I would go in there, because my first couple throws of the day, it would start to trigger it. I would start to think that. And this is why I started bringing this up. As soon as that thing or the anxiety or the thing were not, as soon as I didn't care anymore,
Gone.
I threw the ball. And how I started doing this is he told me about this story of a football player he was coaching, right? This mental strength coach. And he kept coming off, kept jumping the count, whatever. And he said, I get so nervous, this guy, and I always, so he made him, whenever he did that, he made him skip up the line next 10 yards to wherever the ball, and this is an NFL player.
Skip like a kid.
He's skipping like a kid in the middle of an NFL game. So think about what's going on. You start skipping like in the middle of a football game, that looks silly. Your coaches are going to think you're weird. It was this outward weirdless expression because he asked him, what is it like? What could you do right now that would make everybody mad at you and be like, what the hell is he doing? He goes, I don't know, skip to the ball. He goes, all right, you're going to skip to the ball. So
in front of everybody, 100,000 person arena.
It happened in the Super Bowl, he told me. He did it. He skipped 10 yards to the next pin, to the next ball. And from that, I was like, no way. I was just fascinated with the story. He goes, all right, what could you do? I grew up gymnastics, right? I always did handstands in the clubhouse in the weight room because I didn't want everybody to see me because it looks weird.
Yeah, because you're a dude.
Here's my head. A little fruity. It's this and that. Other than, I'd spin it the other way.
But by yourself, you're fine.
He told me, who gives a shit? You're going to go out the right and left field line when you warm up the pitcher, and you're going to do a handstand in front of 40,000 people. And I was like, I'm not going down the right left field line doing that. And it's the first time I was in Miami, I did it in the bullpen because I didn't want people to see me. And that's that mechanism you're talking about. And then I got to the point where, all right, I walked out on the line. I'm out in left center doing handstands, cartwheels and stuff before the game. And soon as I could do that, guess what? Nobody cares.
Nobody.
And even the ones that do care, they're the ones hoping their urine to watch me do a handstand before they go to the bathroom. That's what he told me, and it made me laugh.
Sure.
So I was like, I didn't think about that. He said, yeah, you're making grown men hold your urine just because they want to watch you. Who cares what they think? And I thought, oh.
Do you know what's funny is like when you realize that they don't care, that's the whole world, by the way. Yeah. They only care while they're looking at you. Everybody else has problems. Everybody else has their own issues. Everybody else is trying to do their thing. Totally. And bless their hearts that they are. However, we're so arrogant as human beings that we think the world's revolving around us.
And no one cares.
That they may. Ha, John's a fucking idiot. Did you see him? What a dork. Like, yeah, okay. Oh, shit, what's going on? Yeah. Can't make the Visa payment. Tell the credit card company. You know what I mean? Like, you're gone. Like but we're so worried about that, so surface level that we're holding ourselves back from our potential based on the concern of what other people think about us for trying.
And it may not even be real.
And by the way, everybody, it's easy to say.
Yeah,
it's easy to say. I'm exactly 30 years right now, deep in just trying to not care. By putting myself in that car. And that was a purposeful deal. And by the way, Bo Rudy, I fucking love you like a brother. You have been my brother. Yes, you did offer me a place to stay. Yes, I could have stayed at your house. I have to bring this up. I promised this to Bo. He called me a little shit-faced. By the way, I knew it when you did this.
We discussed this. I like
this. He called me, and this didn't. It's like 11:30 at night.
I have to agree with him.
I don't disagree. So Bo Rudy, for you, everybody, I did not live in a car. There you go, brother. I did not live in my car. Yes, I had an opportunity to live at his house. I could have slept at his house anytime I wanted. 100%. It was a black Dodge Dually extra cab, 3-door. I slept in the back seat of that car, hauling RVs, not a car. So, excuse me. I slept in the back seat of the truck.
See, that's just like you're trying to make it sound all bad.
I know. Trying to make it sound negative. He's like, you didn't even have a car, bro.
It was extended cab truck.
Like,
It's luxury.
Quit telling people you lived in your car.
That's funny.
And quit telling it sounded like you didn't have friends. By the way, I had some amazing friends. A few of them, all of them, I've never talked about this, have offered me to stay at their house. 100%. Why didn't you live at your parents? Why didn't you live at your dad's, your mom's? They were separated. Why didn't you live at your sister's? Why didn't you live at friends? Corey George, I stayed, yes, and I did stay with Bo when he was on the road masonry at his house. So I didn't sleep every single night. Like, yes, I did have friends. I didn't remove myself from the map. I did have a night, like passing through Oregon, brother, going to Pendleton, dropping off a trailer, picking up a trailer. You're over here doing a brick job. Come over, have a beer, stay on my floor. Great. So same concept.
But how much do you think? Yeah, you had those friends. But you had to be it by yourself.
I had to do it. It's like what? Yes, I had all those things, but this wasn't about them. It was like I had to bring a level of humility to me that I didn't own anymore. Right after you went through the money and the other stuff that you go through, I had to put my place to say, hey, that is not definitive you. That did not define me.
Do you think if you would have took those handout, even though
hell no,
you wouldn't be here right now?
I knew that it wouldn't even then.
Yeah.
100% knew it wouldn't work.
Staying in that car.
I had to. Why? One, what is the most example of broke in your car? Two, I told you the thing I was hoping for. Yeah. If I got a job hauling RVs and I thought I'd have a free place to stay. Yeah. And that backfired because you can't sleep in RVs if you're delivering new RVs, by the way. If you're looking for the job, if you're looking for a job and you want to be on the road and you have a pickup, not a car, you can go haul RVs for these RV manufacturers. And they'll pay you per mile, and it doesn't pay great, but it does buy you cigarettes and rock stars and pizzas at Flying J, and sometimes you can talk the lady into showers. So that works out great. But you can't sleep in the RV. Like, for hell's sakes, like, if you have an RV, I'm like, look, I'll go get a job here. I'll have a towable house, have a place to sleep. It won't be so bad.
I mean, heck, it seemed great.
Logical, right?
Yeah.
Not true. Don't ever go in the RV. You're not supposed to sleep in it. Don't dent it. Don't scratch it. Not your thing. Back seat's where you sleep. So in a pickup, not a car. So that being said, to your question, if I wouldn't have done that, like, I knew there was easy ways. First, I wouldn't have to feel and like wrap myself in broke a little bit. Like, I had to bring myself back to, like, I guess self-mutilation almost, in a sense, not physical, but it's like I need to put myself through that. Two, girl problems, whatever those are, no one's going to date you living in a car. Where are you going to get a date? Okay. Like, by the way, want to come over? Like, I'll bring my over to
I'll
you.
I'll take you clear the back of the cab if
like,
you want.
As a matter of fact, I'll bring my place to yours. You know what I'm saying? Pick you up. Smells a little bit like a house in here, no. Right? Like, I got a lot of green pine tree freaking scents going on in here. It's going to be awesome. Like, no, that didn't work. So it was like this oath of celibacy at the same time, oath of brokenness, and the same time, like, forgiveness and understanding of yourself. Like, the whole point of trying to not care what other people think. And I'll tell you what, knowing what that felt was like, I gotta not care what people think, because I lived my life based on what people felt and thought of me. That was the only actions I took, was like, what's gonna make the girl want me? What's gonna make my friends wish they were me? Right? Because really, that's really what we're striving for when you're buying your Ferrari or your Lamborghini. Don't buy the new electric Ferrari. Fucking ugly. You guys screwed that up. Anyway, the ugly. Did you see it?
Yeah, Porsche's good though.
Yeah, my buddy, one of our guys set a goal for their first year. They got it.
Did they?
Yeah, it's here. One of my salesmen. He's like, my goal first year is to buy my Porsche. Got it first year. So good for him. So that being said, it's like, what's going to bring the humility? And it's like, this will do it. And then the only thing I can do, this is kind of a weird way of doing your mutilation, is like, if I put myself into a place where I can't care what other people think, because every second of every minute of every hour of every day is going to affect my mindset. And if I'm not going to kill myself, which I tried to do, then I've got to get through what other people think of me.
You burn down the person you thought was damaged.
I had to freaking burn it to the ground. Like, you had to literally burn it at the fire. Like, it had to go away. And then at the point where all of a sudden you're like, I don't care what people think of me. There was about 6 months of like, I hated myself.
So would you self-talk? How was your self-talk during that period while you were living in a car? Would you talk?
The first 6 months was awful.
Yeah.
Like, how big of a loser and how many times I wronged people and how I felt I was better than people. Like that was the whole game. Like
Really?
you are
Okay.
a piece of shit. You embarrassed yourself. You weren't everything you said you were. Like you're a liar. You're a fake. You're this.
When you were living in repetitive thought process like that, is there anything you think you may have got out of it?
Yeah. Because when you can only say so many things so many times to yourself,
Yeah.
and it was like this broken record of holding myself back. And like I said, it was 6 months of it.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to identify all the negatives. But what I didn't realize my brain was doing for the first 6 months was then slowly forgiving. After I repeated it so many times in my head, like, yeah, but dude, you were 18 when you started this, 19 when you started this. No one taught you this. You didn't even go to school for that. You burned all your bridges to your mentors.
So that just started.
It just started.
Okay.
After several months. Like,
okay.
I'm like, well, you didn't get taught this. Like my dad wasn't there. My mom, she busts her ass every day. She didn't know I was going through it because I had to hide it. Like, because I'm the bulletproof kid. I'm
what
the
made
oldest
you
brother.
go into that mode? What's triggered that self-talk where I started getting grace?
I think it was just being.
To me, it was like Josh. Like when I had Berkman come in, kind of share some of those, and it was like an idea, like, oh, okay, I could get back to being the I am. And it was that. It was like someone telling me, no, you're this.
So what I think, all the negatives of all the things, then I started to identify, like I had to leave Bountiful, Centerville, Utah. Like I had to leave
because so like checking off the list.
I had to get out of there because that is embarrassing. Everybody's going to know the loser. I've got to leave.
Okay.
Where can I leave? My dad lived in Hooper. My sister lived in Hooper. My mom still lived in Centerville. Bo lived in Centerville. Like I had a friend in Cheyenne, Corey George. I'm like, where can I go? And then at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be a burden. I'm just going to go do my thing. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to just drive away. And then this is a job that I heard about. My cousin told me about it, Casey. He died of alcoholism. He's a great kid. But he's like, hey, we could do this. I'm like, that sounds great. I'll do that. And we could have a house, like blah, blah, blah. Then I can run away. He didn't get into it as soon as I did. I ran. Yeah. And then he ended up doing it for a minute and got out of it. But that being said, I think as you repeated, you started to check off the list like, wait, dude, I am only 21.
Yeah.
22. Like, no one else I know's done this.
Yeah.
So why am I being so hard on something that at least I tried?
Yeah.
And then there was this like, you tried though, but you tried.
Yeah.
So quit hating yourself. You tried. All these people that are making fun of you and throwing mud at you and hating on you, not all, everyone, by the way, because I had some close friends, but I mean, in my heart, like we all think they're making fun of us to the point of what
that's kind of what I was going to say. Were they really doing that?
No.
Or was this your own brain?
No. And they loved you like a brother still.
Yeah.
And it's still like to the point like Bo Reedy calling the other day. It's like, dude, you're such a bullshitter. Like I loved you. Like, you could come to my house.
Yeah.
Quit telling people these things on this podcast like you were this isolated, rejected loser. That wasn't the case. But to me,
you felt it.
You're
living this.
I was the isolated, broken loser to me.
Yeah.
I was the one that did it. It is my fault, right?
Correct.
And I think the pro players, the singers, the actors, the moms, the dads,
definitely.
like moms go through a
Especially
lot.
here in Utah.
Like my wife right now, like purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What is her purpose? Like that's her question. I know her purpose. She's great. She's a great mom. However, the kids now can drive. The kids don't need her. She would go she was averaging like 30 to 40,000 miles a year on her car. Now she's like, I think her car's 2 years old and it's 1 year old and it's got 15,000 miles. She's like, I'm never driving. Like, it's so weird. Nobody needs me anymore. And they get lost.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys got to have purpose. Yeah. Just find whatever that is. Do a 501c3. Let's figure out something. She wanted to go to nursing school. I'm like, forget the nursing school. Let's just set up a 501c3 and send 1,000 nurses through school. Like, the impact will be much greater than your time. Because let's be honest, Shannon, we like to go on vacation. We like to go do things together. And you're going to have to ask for time off. And that probably won't work well for you.
Which we'll verify that. Brooke, we did that. Brooke decided to be a nurse. She's in because our boys were NIC unit.
Okay.
ladies.
Okay. Oh, so verified means a real life experience. This is great.
Like retired, doesn't need to, went back because she's like a shade under an angel.
Yeah.
And became a NIC unit nurse. And her purpose is that. And I wish we would have done what you did because now she's helping me with Level Up. Now I'm trying to get her to quit so we can go work on this stuff hard.
Right, on your own. But she found her purpose.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what's really for her is, I think she sounds like your wife. Like their purpose was they're such helpers. They're almost like first
Take care of
responders.
kids.
They're
Yep,
just
that's it.
everything's their whole life is selfless.
And Shannon does work on the ambulance. This is her 20th year.
That's
In
amazing.
27 will be 20 years. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
So and she's still 25 anyway, but
Well, that's why,
because she gives, right? She volunteers at the school. She does all sorts of stuff, but she struggles with purpose. I'm like, well, just find it. And
it's because she's such a giver. I think that's how my wife was too. Or now she's a nurse. That's just their DNA.
It's a giving thing.
Yeah.
So I think to answer and wrap that other part of the piece up, it's just like, look, where did it register? And then all of a sudden you find yourself saying, oh, to check that box, like, I did it though, but nobody else did it. And so they can't make fun of me. And even though they probably weren't, I'm like, so why am I mad? At least I tried. No one taught me. My dad wasn't there. My mom was there as mom, but she wasn't part of the work thing. Yeah. She just was proud of whatever it is that you're doing. And then you're stepping through the process and you're like, well, I did. And then what did I learn? And then all of a sudden you go through like, what were the learnings? What did you do? Oh my gosh, you got into Home Depot at what age? You supplied all, you got the sheds outside from inside at what age? I mean, I know there's simple little things. You changed the way they build doors at what age? And then it's like, okay, so then I was able to build garages and sheds, and I was building hundreds of them, like every week, like crazy amounts of volume.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where a year in, and you're like, man, I'm a weapon. Do you realize what you really are? You realize what you've really done? There's 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds that have never done what you've done and will never make the top line revenue that you've ever made in their whole career. And you just started. You're still wet behind the ears. You don't know anything. This is where the education versus experience kind of went through.
Do you think you're extreme? Do you feel when you have self-talk, right?
Oh yeah.
I think you really feel it. So as soon as that self-talk turned to, oh, you're this, did it feel like it picked up a train, like, oh, here we go?
Yeah, dude, seriously. Like it felt like by the time I got out of the car, now keep in mind, I think that's why that one, I keep referring to this stupid YouTube video, why it went so viral. It's like, Get paid what you're worth was the title of this thing. And it wasn't like trying to say everybody's worth $100,000. That's not at all what I was trying to say. It's back to like, I'd be happy to sweep the floor for $10. It's just like what that is trying to reference is, you know what you are good at in your heart, and you know what you're not good at. So quit bullshitting people. Don't come in here and say, hey, I need $100,000 if you want me to do that. Like, I don't care what job it is, but I'm worth $150,000. Like, who told you that? I don't disagree that you're not worth $150,000. There's something that every person has unique to them that they're going to be worth a significant amount more than something else that they can do. I'm not disagreeing. However, we don't recognize that every skill we have is not worth the same.
Yeah.
Like, you're not worth the same to me in my lumber mill as you would be at baseball. Because we're going to have to show you every single thing to do on these computers and the mill, you know what I mean, and CNCs, and you don't understand machining. Like, you just don't.
Exactly.
So you don't come in here and say, well, I made $2 million at the baseball team last year.
Great.
If you want me in here at
anything.
$2 million, I'm like, dude, we'll hire you.
You're going to cost me $2 million by
$17. Yeah, like, we're paying you $17. Like, but then the problem, and I think the issue that most of the world has, is they're like, he doesn't think I'm worth crap. No, I didn't say that. I said that you're worth $17 an hour on that mill.
Correct.
If you want to go play baseball, you're worth whatever. Like, but when you come to me and expect me to appreciate, respect, and pay you that, it's not fair to me. Like, the value exchange isn't the same. So we got to make sure that as we go through these processes, whether you're 18 years old at the fire station, and this is something we see common. Look, I'm a firefighter. My dad was a firefighter. Not my dad, but he was here for 30 years. He made X. I want to get paid what my dad get paid. I'm like, well, unfortunately,
30 years of experience.
And so there's that. And people want to skip it. Yeah. And the unfortunate part is we've allowed it.
Yeah.
We've allowed the skip. We've allowed the people to come in and say, hey, like, for example, I'm going to use Neff here. Neff's been with me 3 or 4 years. I don't know Neff. 3, 4, 5. Shit, you're old. You started so young. No wonder you're getting wrinkled, brother. So anyway, newer guy, grown into at 5 years, like, I'm good at this, I'm going to do this. And what he is today, I'm very sure if his base pay and we decided to bring in somebody new and that's what he's getting paid, and because he said, well, what does Neffy make?
Oh, he's going to think,
well, I'm worth that.
Yeah,
no, you're not at all. First off, Neffy knows my brand. Neffy knows my team. Neffy knows what I like. Neffy's been through, we've had our positive and negative conversations. Like, we've been through that, which makes it more valuable. And then there's this brand new guy, like, I want to make that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, he doesn't want to pay me what I'm worth. You're not worth it.
Yeah.
Even though you may have experience, even say working for you at Level Up as your social media poster guy. You're not coming in to Neffy, even if he worked for you for 5 years, and going to be as good as Neffy. You're just not.
Yeah.
Because we've been together and he knows what I want. He knows what I like. There's this been 5 years of in the immersive experience. And I just wish people would set their expectations correctly, which I think in the long run, to go long circle around depression and anxiety and PTSD and all the things that we blame for holding us back, if we didn't set these false expectations of these little things and the stack of these false expectations, the risk of us becoming depressed, the risk of us having PTSD go down. I know that's a long way to get there, you guys. I do get that. However, if you can imagine if you didn't go in there expecting and someone saying no to you, which then does take a chip out of your tree trunk. Okay. I got rejected. They don't think I'm worth that. It's not at all what I said. I didn't say you individually aren't worth that.
Yeah.
I said what you're willing to give me for what I'm asking for, those two numbers don't line. Did I say you won't be? No, but we need to get there.
Yeah.
And the problem is people take that as a negative connotation of who they are. Yeah. Has nothing to do with who you are. Has everything to do with what I need skill set wise and the experience we've exchanged to condition you to what we want as part of this company, as part of this team, as part of this movie, as part of this band, as part of this whatever. You know, I mean, you can apply it to a framing team, millwork team, painting team. It's all the same. And I just think right now we've become soft with this feeling of equity. Nobody owes you nothing. Nobody. I know the TV says it, and I know the left likes to preach it, and I know some of the right does. I don't care about sides. Whatever it is, we just have to have a little bit of equity and understand that, hey, look, my self-worth isn't tied to whatever I'm getting paid. I may not even be able to work in the field. You can't go play pro ball today. I mean, are you qualified as a pro ball player? Sure. But you're going to have to go try out like the rest of them. You could take that away because you went and decided, hey, look, I need a little bit more money. You did a little eastbound and down and decided I'm going to go back to the team. I'm going to go do my thing, right? And then all of a sudden you could take that home and say, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not worth anything. I'm going to be depressed and hate myself because I can't. Well, that's the unfortunate side. Like there isn't always the opportune time to match your worth to your value, right? There's lenses. And I just wish that people wouldn't tie their worth to what they're actually at in their current space. Maybe your skill doesn't match the job. Maybe you're at the time. Like even in fire, like 18 years old, you come in, you got fire, all of a sudden you realize that you're brushing hoses forever, or you're polishing brass, or you're staying in the truck, or you're in the bay for a year while everybody, like there's initiation phases that they don't do as much anymore that I think they should do. Yeah. Like to respect and earn. And I think things like those simple conversations with ourselves. Yeah. Don't you think?
I do.
So how do you get through that? Like, how did you forgive yourself when you said, hey, I'm going through the yips, it's my fault, I'm doing this, I've got the thing, where am I weak?
One, I did the thing where the handstand thing, realizing I think I was putting a lot of that, like all the stuff and anxiety, and it was all made up. A lot of it was made up in my own pressure, my own head, my own things that were going on. And I was creating a lot of it. So I think I started to realize that we're a lot more level than we think we are, and that there's not a whole lot of people really just thinking about you. There's a lot going on. And I think we get so much in our own heads and we make up bullshit.
My shirt has Buck on the back.
Yeah.
They see me doing that. Buck's ruined.
Yeah. So I think it was that. And then living through like this happened, like the yips thing, I had to miss some time. I was injured. And then I came back and I was all right. It was almost like, all right, the worst happened. Like you said, I hit rock bottom. Like everybody did know about it. I wasn't, and I maybe got released from a team because of it. And then I was like, all right, well, now it's just I can go out there and do again. And it almost felt as refreshing as when you're first coming in the league, you're just there to prove. It was like that again. It was just about the baseball because the worst thing had already happened. So it's not like it wasn't looming over me anymore. So I think that helped, is just kind of busting through it and being fearlessness to fail again.
It's like the first time you get in the men's locker room and someone sees your pecker, and you're like, well, guess what? They've seen it. They've seen my underbelly. Totally. I don't mean to use that way. It's like, but now the underbelly's exposed. It's not a big deal anymore.
That's true. Hey,
like,
you walk in there with all those Dominicans, and you're a little white guy from Utah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That'll humble you real quick.
Yeah, real fast. You're like, well, I've already seen it. Like, tease me, whatever.
Well, I'm smaller than the rest.
Listen,
of
it's a good size. It's a fun size.
That's right. I'm a catcher. I'll throw it in a cup anyways.
So I think, like for you guys, we go through our yips, and I are you thankful now?
Oh yeah. I'm thankful because, like I told you, I think I was a baseball player that went through experience. I think my purpose on this earth is to relay that experience that I had at the highest level with our first responders who protect and serve us every day, that I could use that moment and that experience so that they could use it for the more important cause of that experience.
So here's what's
save
weird.
lives.
Like you said, like if you wouldn't have gone through the yips, where would your purpose be today?
I wouldn't have anything.
So
I feel like almost I would be depressed and wondering, like, what do I do?
What am I supposed to do? I got this money, but money's only so fun. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
There's only so much.
I mean, when I first came home, it was like, I asked, bro, like, can we come home? Because I came home from the Braves, and my son was going through some stuff, and so I felt I need to be here, but it was stopping me. I mean, I was just running an organization. I was the man, and now my wife's telling me I'm folding the towels wrong. And telling me, like, what the hell? Don't touch that. And I was being told, and it kind of screwed me up. She was like, just don't touch the laundry. And I was like wait a minute. I'm doing this to help you, and you rather me not help you? That's how shitty I am right now in laundry. And that's my job right now. That's what you gave me.
Yeah.
And I was told to, go home, baseball, and now the towels. Laundry, I can't do it. So it jacked me up. And that was like my one experience. Yeah, it was just something small, but I remember feeling like, who am I? What's my purpose on earth? And I was, transitioning out of playing, but also I thought I'd come home and teach baseball. I knew I wanted to teach mental skills stuff. I didn't know how that was going to happen, but some things led to the other. But first responders were, I think, shortly thereafter. I think that's when I first met you.
Yeah,
and I think you were a part of that, and I've told you that story. I got to hear your story, and my cousin was kind of going through something. I had just got laughed at by my uncle, my dad, and my cousin, who are all military first responders. Mm-hmm. I asked them, what's your guys' transition program? And they all laughed at me. And I was this baseball player who kind of had a transition program for playing baseball.
Sure.
And transitioning to the world. So it was like that whole experience of trying to find myself and knowing that it was going to be hard. It wasn't hard yet, per se. I was entering into it. And then I heard your story, and then it was like, all right, I think I found my purpose pretty quick and easy. But I definitely felt the void of like, all right, who am I? Because like Brooke just told me I sucked at laundry.
And I can't play baseball.
I don't even know what to do right now. So there was this scared like, uh-oh. But I do feel very fortunate and lucky to have found my purpose.
So question is a lot of baseball players, football players, basketball players have tendency of suicidal tendencies anyway. Where do you identify that with? Is it because of the transition of like, I'm no longer anybody?
Yeah, I think we identify, like I'm a baseball player. And we identify that, we get wrapped up on that and the results of that. I think we forget that's just such a small part of who I am. And I identified as that. I'm a dad, I'm a father, I'm a mental strength coach, I'm a coach at a high school, I'm a leader inside my church. Like I've 5 things I just randomly ran off that are all huge and impact the world. And now I'm mental strength coordinator for first responders in the state of Utah and putting on a game. Like this, it feels.
You know what's awesome though is with your experience, look at the families you can involve. Yeah. Like you got the Huntsmans, like good luck getting them on the phone.
Yeah.
The Millers, good luck getting them on the phone. Not that they're hard people, they're wonderful people, by the way. The Millers and the Huntsman people. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, unless you have that little bit of chip, it's like, how can I leverage my experiences and my X title to get on the right phone, to be able to have the opportunity to put together this game on the 13th of June. Like, it's harder for some. It's not impossible. So, by the way, everything's possible. Mm-hmm. It's just how much are you willing to hear no,
and,
right?
Yeah, and
Was it easy? That's the question.
no, it's
No,
not.
even with your
Well,
title,
I
right?
thought I'd come home because I'm the guy from Utah. I thought,
The
let's
cheerleading
do
squad.
this.
He's here.
Let's
Yeah.
do this. And I think it was the authenticity of the stories and stuff that I am talking about. I think it was the right way, because I had to go and show and prove and lay on the line, like, here's my lived experience. Here's the things I was shitty at, good at, kind of good at, really good at, bad at, and awesome at. Here they are. And how can this benefit you? You know, and where we're talking about mental health services and mental health part of your game, and trying to apply that to first responders, because I had a live experience of, like, saying facing Verlander or doing handstands down the left field line because of anxiety and performance at the highest level, I can say that and do that as a ball player, but also say, because of lived experience, guess what? Didn't define me. It's not defining you, first responder, because soon as you get home and we go through post game, you're going to take the first 90 seconds and then talk to your wife or your child, because you're no longer a first responder or a ball player. You're a dad or a husband.
So here's the question: as you were saying that, you leave your career and you come back in, right? You're going your transition period, and you go through the mental state of, like, suicidal. My point is, like, if you knew, like, if the world knew, and fortunately there's a lot of people that are unsuccessful at the game, if they're able to weaponize, like, being able to be that low and get through that piece, like, if they recognized, it's like, don't do it. You just don't realize that as soon as you get through this piece, you're going to have this whole new level of power that you had no idea that you owned. And then all of a sudden, if you can harness it and focus it into something, you will find this person that you didn't even realize existed once you get through that component.
Correct.
It's like, how do we convince them? It's like, I know that you're at a space. I understand and I appreciate and respect. Your bad is really, really bad, especially if you're thinking about that. Like, but I promise you that does pass. Like, these waves in the ocean pass, the storms pass. It's hard to see when you're in it. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to just tread water anymore. I just want to stop trying. Like, it's hard. Yeah. But if you just realize the muscles you built treading water, as soon as you get on something that's not a freaking storm and you're just free sailing on a beach, you're like, well, who the heck is this toned out machine? Yeah. Like, did you feel that, like, when you got through it, all of a sudden now you can leverage back, like, no, that doesn't hurt me?
Yeah.
Did you feel like a weapon, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's kind of why they do minor leagues the way they are.
What's that? So explain it.
I think, one, start off an A-ball and it's short bus trips and you're eating peanut butter and jelly. Okay. That's what you're getting. And then maybe some top ramen. Then you go to double A, and then they'll give you a warm cooked meal. Sometimes you'll go on a plane, but you don't go that far, but the bus trips are nicer. Then you go to triple A, you start to fly, but it's usually night flights, you know, it's Spirit Airline, and it's a grind. You hear how hard the minor leagues is a grind. And I think it filters out the people who can't get hardened through that process. Yeah, it's a little more glorified because it is a game, but it's a good example to say, here's these levels of hardening that you get before you're going to go be the best. And why you're the best, we'll pamper you. But if you slip, we'll put you back down there. We'll put you back down in the hardening zone to learn how to harden back up, to come up here to be tested, to play with the elite. And I think that process of doing that, of, like, just grinding, that's what they call it, grinding in the bushes. They literally call it grinding in the bushes in the minor leagues, is that the eating the peanut butter and jelly, eating the top ramen, going to Little Rock, Arkansas, and playing a game at 1:00, and then the next day waking up and riding a bus and going to Delmarva. That hardens you. Like, you're 0 for 4 or 0 for 10, and you haven't seen your family forever, and then you're riding on a bus, looking out the window.
And then I'm like, another freaking Uncrustable.
Yeah. What am I doing?
This
and
is so
Major
stupid.
Leagues feel so far away. But then, like, you say that to yourself, but no one else is doing this. There is maybe 30 people in the world that have this opportunity right now. That starts to trickle. And that strengthening of your mind of I can make it, that starts to harden a lot of men who becomes super gangster good in the big leagues. And they become very disciplined. Their self-discipline becomes unwavering. The guys that are the good ones that stick.
What do you think separates the people that go through the experience, don't, whatever, commit suicide, but they still just tread on this forever? I think for me, is like they miss the reflection component. Yeah. And that's the only thing. Like, even if you're past it and you're like, hey, well, I didn't have that experience. I didn't commit suicide, but I was there. I tried a couple times. It didn't work out. And here I sit still in the sump. Like, I think the only component is they didn't have enough conversation on their own about their own self-equity. Instead, they pointed it out. They said, well, that was because John Buck said I sucked and he got to be pro. And that's because my mom never gave me a chance. My dad didn't pay for my school. And my grandpa raised us in Bountiful. And if he wouldn't have moved to Bountiful, you know what I mean? Like, if he would have been LA, then I would have had a different career opportunity. I would have been an actor. Like, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking that if we have more equity on whatever it is, like to say, hey, it's my fault on every single thing that happens to us, good and bad. Like, if we raise, because no matter what, and you can argue, like, I'm on the way to the store, I got broadsided and my family got killed. Heaven forbid, right? All I'm saying is that my fault. Well, participatory. Like, you were there. I mean, yeah, could you have done anything different? It's not. But you participated. You were on the way to the store. You didn't, whatever. Like,
correct.
There was some level. Again, you can argue what percentage, but no matter what, there's a level. And so I think whatever we can take accountability for, and instead of just push blame, like it's his fault, he shouldn't have been drinking and driving. And I don't disagree. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, well, there is some levels that we could have at least, you can't change it, but we just need to take some. And even though you shouldn't sometimes, just learn how to own every piece of what you should be accountable for. And then what can you digest from it? And is there a change that you could have done? So, for example, using that one, if I'm hit by a broadsided drunk driver, I could have said, hey, well, probably not a good idea to go to the grocery store at 11:30 or 1 in the morning on Friday night, past 3 bars. Probably high risk. Yes, that happens at different times of the day. But if you can identify something that you could have done different, then change. And then you use another. I mean, to me, that's how I inventory, is trying to say, what level of accountability do I have? What would I do different next time on the level of accountability that I had? Would that have changed the odds? A lot of the time, no. But just being able to identify the accountability level.
Yeah, correct.
And own it. And honestly, not only that, be proud of owning, being proud of identifying the accountability level.
Yeah.
Like, to being willing to say, yeah, my fault. It's my fault. Like, there's a level here that's my fault. And it's not that we could change it. However, it does make it easier to start processing and improving.
Well, I think you make it, like what you were saying, it makes it easier. So that means you're doing it more than once. It becomes a process. Like when we talk about it, you've already heard me say pregame, in-game, postgame. Those are 3 separate different types of arena of thought process.
Okay.
You're priming yourself up for purpose to think and flood your mind with what you want, not what you don't want.
Pregame.
Yeah, pregame. In-game, keeping that solidified in thought. What do I want? And what are the score makers and score breakers? We want score makers. All the things to flood in my mind that prepare me to have success on this, right? And then once it happens, post-game, this is critical. This is the one where you're really looking in the mirror, because this is the assess, like, did I get buckled by Verlander's breaking ball? Did I see it? Did I spin on it? Did I, like, where is it where I can make improvements? So you're saying, owning it.
Same.
Yeah, own it. And if you have that process of doing it, you start to recognize and view it as such, and that the ego part of it, the identifying I'm that mistake, I found that falls away. You're able to view, if it's a routine of post-game, oh, okay, I reviewed that, I swung at that, I need to do this, I'm going to stay up, whatever.
Yeah, forgiving yourself.
It becomes normal. And it becomes a lot easier to forgive yourself because you've made that process normal.
Yeah, it's not even a mistake. It's just a learning.
Correct.
So to your point, like post-game, when you go to review the call, review the life experience,
bad or the life.
whatever that is, the problem that you could have the same post-game, so I'll give you an example. man, if that freaking dickhead in the crowd wouldn't have been doing that, and he made fun of my daughter, or my wife, or whatever, and then this guy, he stunk, I think he shed his, whatever, right? Like, we can find reasons why he couldn't hit. Correct. And blame everybody else around us, the wind, the weather, the bird, the sounds, the location, whatever. My hands were cold, my hands were hot. But again, that doesn't ever get to what you can do.
Yeah.
So if you can help on post-game, just identifying what is it that I can affect to change the outcome. And a lot of people think they want massive change. I'm a huge massive change guy, and it screws with my company a lot, and I need to slow it down. But what we miss in our society today is like patience. Patience is really hard because we're so used to the dopamine hit of picking up my phone, seeing who called, what about my messages, who's on it, whatever, right? We want to see the little red dot and hit it, whatever that is, so we can get rid of the notifications, and we get those every 5 seconds because we mean something to somebody.
Have you heard the thing how we're trained on beeps? Human psyche. Go down that rabbit hole on YouTube.
Train on beeps? I'd like to.
It's beeping all the time.
Yeah, it is. I can believe it.
If there's something I just watched on how we're trained, our mind, the human psyche, on beeps.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, it'll
so
freak out.
if you think about that, like, what is it that I just kind of lost my train of thought on the, no, you're all right, but like the beep, it is. Well, when you come back down, it's like, okay, here's what I can be accountable for. Here's the change I can make. And then, back to the 1 degree. So 1 degree in today's world, like by the end of the day, if I changed 1 degree on my walk to my car, I'd still get to my car.
Yeah.
It's still right there. Like, I'm not walking far enough away if I'm walking 30 feet. Right. But if I'm walking for 30 years, I'm ending up in a complete different country on the other side of the Atlantic, at a complete different spot than I expected.
Yeah.
So it's these little 1 degree changes. You don't have to say, hey, it was a 180 degree mistake because I failed not one. But like, over a course of life, if we can just fix a little 1 degree every day of whatever that is, expect or appreciate, what could I do different? Well, next time I'm not going to the store at 1 a.m, I'm going to go at 6. I know that's simplified version of what horrific example I used. But at the same time, I think simple things like that are where, when people say, I want to be John Buck, I want to be a serial entrepreneur that has whatever, I think you can be. You can be. It's just when you start at an early age and your 1 degree is like, hey, everybody's going over to watch a movie at Jill's house or whatever. I'm going to go in my backyard and throw balls through the tire. Mm-hmm. It's just 1 degree. It's still the same free time. Your friends will still think you're playing. You're just playing by yourself because you're a loner. Right, but at the same time, you have a target. And then it's like, okay, what did I learn from that? And then you just keep going, that 1 degree variant. Yes, they might even be playing in your yard. They're jumping on the tramp. You're throwing through a tire. It's there. Mm-hmm. But it's just, what is the focus that you're willing to sacrifice to do the 1 degree? And then whatever you failed at or wish you would have done different, just move it a little bit. Yeah. You don't have to do massive change. Some people need massive change. And that's where I think people get all drunk on. They just think they can't take that massive change today.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all today. Yeah. Just do something today. John Porter, one of my partners in business, he's an amazing human. He says, I don't care what you do, just do a little better tomorrow. Just do a little bit better tomorrow. Like, drink 1 less cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
One step better.
At the same time, I just think the world is such a pretty place, and we get so worried about what other people think about it. But at the end of the day, if you're able to take your mission and get one mindset to say the post game equals, and then they don't even enter that depressive state ever again because you just changed it that 1 degree. That's really 1 degree of separation in everything on the planet, right? So they just don't quite hit that. Yeah. Like, that is where it gets so important. And I think you could alter people's lives from literal suicide to become the chief, or literal suicide or divorce or whatever terrible things can happen, or even not perform at their optimum opportunity. It could be that simple, but taking someone that could end up just being a bump on a log and sit home and watch TV and they do their thing and eat popcorn and then all of a sudden you've created the next person that can help 1,000 people. Yeah. It's just that. Yeah. And so that's why I think what you do is so important. And that's why I'm excited about this game. Is there other things you wanted to share with everybody? Like, what is it?
Yeah, well, we're hopefully, it's the first game. I'm hoping to make it go on, so that
Like in Salt Lake, or you want to go all over?
all over. Yeah.
So if it's something that other states may be interested in, is there ways to talk to you about that?
Yeah. So I've been, the HDRX, that home run derby that's kind of going around. So I participated at Major League Baseball has an HDRX home run derby going on. There's some player-driven causes that might attach onto this. I know with Ken.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
With the Millers and how they've bidded. I wore my Big League Utah hat.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Here today on the podcast.
Big League Utah boys.
Yep.
And girls.
I know that that is something that's high on the priority list for Major League Baseball to do events. If they're going to be a Major League team and put the money up like the Millers have for the team, tackling some of these events that are the issues within our community, mental health being one of those topics. I kind of said, hey, I want to do this. MLB said, hey, Bees, you got to do events within your community. I said, hey, here's one. It's obviously a big one. And I think the Huntsman Mental Institute Foundation, along with the Millers, I don't know if there's two more
There's
engulfed,
not two bigger families.
Yeah, in our community, and them raising their hands saying, John, we'll help you, share your message, get the cause out there, raise awareness, and hopefully an annual game every year for this topic, so that we can really have that platform to
do you think it
table
would
the conversation.
Have the same opportunity if you could go to every state?
Yeah,
would that be something you'd like to see or no?
Yeah. So there's 19 different venues that should be up that are going to be on this HDRX.
Oh, nice.
I want to insert them in there in a way. I don't know how many opportunities. I think that will be the first one, because it'll go to. I know baseball is trying to go to more of a regional model to connect with the fans. So I think my event, and I know there's some mental health events that were ran last year but may have missed, that were run by baseball, that I think, because the success and the authenticity and the involvement and participation numbers that I've had with the first responders, I know I'm getting some attention. So it's fingers crossed, keep that going. It's going in the right direction that could be there. And I think the way that I have built it, I know there's a lot of players that have a story and lived experience to share that I think could be unique, if not better than my experience.
Awesome.
And I think it's unique for their area, because each player is connected to their area. Like I know, like for example, I know the uniqueness of Utah. Being in the church, going out of the church, bishops, missions, weird underwear. Like, I understand that world.
Somebody from LA,
people from LA or for some down south, or may not necessarily feel how it is to be here in Salt Lake. Where if I can take my program, give it to them, and they can apply it in the region.
Find a bigger one.
Exactly.
I see it like baseball, football, basketball. Like there's opportunities in all those places, and there's certain fans of each one of those sports that you could get those same groups involved and have different relations, and that could be a big movement if people took the opportunity.
And the clubhouse itself is really the thing that I think we're a lot of connection amongst peers, the first responders. It's healthy. Just them being around a batting cage, hitting, just being inside. Like when we go D-bat, I gave them some D-bats, them as a group, just to go and be as a group outside of their jobs, being in fight or flight, getting into the zone or flow state outside of their job together. I think it's medicine. Being in that zone flow state is so. I think the more we can create opportunities for them, I just think it's fun and unique. And I mean, to have, like, the most rewarding thing as I'm putting on these tryouts to put these teams, I had 150 people show up to one tryout, 150 responders to one tryout for 14 spots. That's just the first day. Second day, I think I had 89. And then I went to the base. Regardless, every time I've gone into tryouts, the influx of people tell me, I haven't hit and thrown forever, but the last 3 weeks I've been going every day. Hearing that,
big difference.
That means that first responder just worked out for the last 3 weeks just to maybe make a team.
So did you hear that, everybody? Look at your opportunities in your community.
That's right.
I mean, it sounds like you're willing to share, teach, and let other people experience, but that's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I feel pretty blessed. It doesn't feel like a real job. It feels like a very purpose-driven, and
So the question is,
human
why does it
soul
have to
is-
feel like a real job? I love what I do at work. Is it a job? I don't know. I can't say that it's not.
I don't think I've ever had a real job.
But I don't feel like it is. Like, is it? What I love is the challenge. I love the difficulty. I love the people I work with. I love the people. I like customers, even the angry ones. Like, here's another like weird. I don't know if you'd want to call it deficiency, but I like negative reviews in the sense that I have some negative reviews. But it's like, okay, I can't learn anything from like, rah, you're the best. Best thing I've ever heard. I love 5 stars, by the way. They're great because I know that my team's doing great. Then when I see negatives, it sucks. It's a firestorm for me. Like, but at the same time, I love it because it's like, how did I miss that? Why are we still missing it? It's
Help
you
you
know,
from getting
people
complacent.
get concerned that I'm going to yell and scream at them, and I get frustrated if it's something we've discussed and should be handled, and our customers shouldn't have to be going through that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, then I must not have the right systems. Like, again, you have to take ownership.
You let it get there.
Every piece, like everything that goes wrong in this office, no matter what, is my fault. Like the system was weak, the processes weren't correct, the faith in whoever was placed too much, or the responsibility was too big. They hadn't had the experience to learn how to handle those type of scenarios.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it still falls back to me. And so it's not that I'm trying to avoid or push blame. Like, and this probably came from my car, but I think I try to run and try to take the accountability for everything I possibly can without taking too much accountability. I'd rather have the accountability than the credit.
Yeah.
Give the credit away and accept
on
accountability.
Yeah.
Because the credit I don't really care about. Like, what does the credit
Sound like
look
a
like?
catcher.
What's that?
Sound like a catcher.
Right, because you
Just
could be
putting down suggestions.
That's it. But you can't, when I say credit, it's like at the end of the day, that's what pays anyway. Like you build a big, awesome brand, you're going to get the credit. You don't have to have the win. You didn't get the hit, whatever. Like they can have the hit. Like the accountability is I didn't coach them right.
Correct.
Or I didn't have the systems in place to make it be correct or be good. So I think what has matured in my life is that. And then if we can teach people that the accountability of raising your hand and say, my fault, is hard at first. But pretty soon you find yourself like, no, that's mine. I want that. Why? Because I'm going to go learn from it. And then, no, you can have the credit. I get it. They got that. That's great. Because at the end of the day, when you sell Murphy Door or whatever happens with Murphy Door, you'll get the credit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or you lose Murphy Door. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll get paid, good or bad. Like, that's the stage. So I wish people understood how, I guess, freeing it is to be accountable.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean be accountable for credit. Please, that's not what we're trying to say. The accountability of being accountable for your vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and inabilities is way more empowering. It's like the 1-star than your 5-star.
Yeah, it's the gateway to your 5 because, like we
100%.
said, you wouldn't give away, you wouldn't trade in the car.
Yeah, you
stint.
wouldn't. You wouldn't.
I mean, that's what defines you.
That's it. Well, hopefully everybody got any other exciting things. June 13th. Is there a website they can find?
Yeah,
people
you
looking
can go to
for it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you can go to American First Ballpark app, and then you can check out In the Open. That's
In the
what
Open?
we're calling it, In the Open.
So America First Credit Union app.
And go to
Is it the
June
bank app
13th.
or
Yeah,
is it
it's the Ballpark app?
Ballpark
Sorry,
app?
Yeah,
Okay,
Ballpark
yep.
app, and then go there. In the Open is the event on June 13th.
Okay.
Tickets are free, but
Okay.
they are doing it through the ticket system. Just
Limited.
go on there, yep, and
Okay.
pick the tickets. Yeah, there's only I think 7,500 tickets in the stadium. So
that means you better hurry.
yeah.
Bottom line is,
Yeah,
that's a lot more people than
with
7,500.
the no air, like the air show has been canceled up at Hill Air Force Base. So I know that families are pretty excited because that's kind of their event.
Yep.
They're excited that since they lost that, this is kind of going
This
in
is
there.
their second.
Yeah.
So get on there. The other thing, Level Up. What if they want to find out more about Level Up?
Yeah, you can go to levelup.com and check it out. We do mental health services, not only just for first responders, but for corporate.
Okay.
I've done teams and stuff, but my team, since we're all baseball-oriented people, we try to stay more corporate and use baseball.
As the example.
We're all the experts in the sport already, so we're a little burnt out of the kids and the parents in the sports. I do that. That's more of the job part because I do with baseball, work with Major League Baseball in some aspects. But this in particular, this cause, it's for first responders, and it's no different. Whether we're working with the kids or the parents, same skill set. It's just the content's towards first responders. Humans are humans. Zone is the zone. Flow state is the flow state.
I totally agree.
Serotonin.
I totally agree.
If we learn how each of us operate, that's our main objective, and the uniqueness of a first responder just really coincides with the 162 games in 180 days for baseball players. So there's a lot of play right there, as we've done the whole day here. So it really helps it kind of table the conversation lightly and fun, where they can really get to the nitty gritty once we get the work, and they're like, all right, the human system is doing this. I just went in flow state right here, was in the zone. Now I'm mother effing myself. Why? Now let's do the work. Because they're getting to see how they're really operating, and they can really get some real work done while we're having fun. And it helps them not take themselves seriously, but then understand the seriousness is there. Because they do some work while they're there. The mental health strength coaches, those therapists.
It's even more work subconsciously than they think.
Correct.
I'm sure it's probably not all just fun and games.
Well, I think it helps because it
your
naturally does
mic
that.
down.
It naturally comes, their authenticity of what they're really feeling is coming, because their guards go down because they're playing a sport. And so that real locked in the zone shows up, and they fall out of it, and that's real ego, and it's then the mental
It's like
strength
me in
comes in.
golf.
Correct.
Because I suck at golf,
Yeah,
and I hate it. I'm good at driving or riding in the golf cart, not even driving that much.
Well, tell me who's good at golf.
Right. Well, some people. I think.
They're getting paid. That's
They're
it.
getting
This is
paid.
the one.
So,
It's like
John,
12
if
of
people
them.
want to follow you on Instagram or LinkedIn, or do
Yeah,
you have any
John
of that
Buck
stuff?
44 on Instagram.
John Buck
I have
44.
some other ones, but it's not really.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not me.
he's on Feet Finder. He loves Feet Finder.
Feet Finder.
Just kidding. That's where he's
FeetRS.
at. So anyway, I really appreciate you spending time today, and I love where your mission is and your purpose. I think it's super exciting, and not only that, I believe we can make a big, huge difference. I think when I say we, it's like as long as us on the first responder side learn how to take accountability, learn to be vulnerable, be willing to take these kind of things that Level Up was offering, going in there to see how you can improve. Like if your desire is to be better or best at what you do, first we have to get right with ourselves that we're not perfect.
Correct.
Second, appreciate, respect, and be accountable. So that way we can understand that it is normal to be sad, to be depressed, to feel weak, to feel vulnerable to the public. Like those are all normal things that every single human, the 7.5 billion people on this planet go through. You're not special. You're not any different. You're not weak. You're not any of that. And I think these different opportunities to raise your hand and be part of these type of opportunities that you offer at Level Up. If you're a chief, if you're any of this, I think I'd highly suggest you look into it. It's a pretty awesome thing you're doing. And I'm excited for this game on June 13th. Again, that's America First Ballpark app. Mm-hmm. June 13th, 7,500 tickets around, and way more than that. If you're getting 240, I did the math as quick as I could, around 240 people in 2 days to just try out, times the family, there's 1,000 seats gone already, and just the people that tried out
So
in 2
that's
days.
about where we're at. We're about 2,500 gone right now.
Already?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just FYI, you're a third of the way down, and it's an awesome new ballpark. The Millers don't mess around.
No, they don't.
So
First class, the whole
Gail's
day, everything.
and her team are amazing. So make sure you get out if you haven't been there, even if you're not a baseball fan.
Yeah.
You can be. I mean, just even if you're not.
Yeah,
Who cares?
even after the game too, they're gonna all the families come down on the field. They're gonna play the Sandlot.
How fun! A movie
during the day. This tells you how good this screen is.
Holy crap!
During the day after we play, they're gonna
play
put
Sandlot. Another
Sandlot
Utah
on
movie
it,
for
and
those
it-
that you get in the
yeah,
that's
Utah
freaking
ties.
awesome.
But yeah, that screen's so amazing. They can play. They're gonna have the screening. Bring your glove. You can play catch with your kid down on the field and watch the game.
How awesome
After
is
the
that?
game.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in again. This is 90 Proof Wisdom. My name's Jeremy Barker. John Buck, thank you very much. Fellow Utah guy. Don't ask him about his funny underwear. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, great. If you don't, great. Just tell me about it. I love negative. I'm sure you got plenty to say. It's fine. I know I'm cross-eyed. I know I'm a little downsy. It's okay.
Right.
Nothing matters. Love y'all. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.